Okay. Is this working? Okay. Looks like I'm online. All right. Welcome. Alex isn't here yet. He's not a morning person, but I'm here. So let's see if anyone's joining us. Mostronics mug. All right, so this is our first live stream for the year, and we had a few people ask us to do live streams, and we just haven't had time. That's the problem. We had no time. No one's watching at the moment still, so hopefully someone will watch at some stage. Ah, 2 people. Hello, there's some people in here. Hello. So like I said, Alex isn't here yet. He's on his way. He's not a morning person. He messaged me before. He got up late as usual. And he's coming. Is the audio right? Can you hear it all right? Can everyone hear me all right? Just getting this going slowly. Just waiting a bit for people to join in. So yeah, so first, oh hello Leo. Yes, excellent. Yeah, so welcome to the first sort of Q&A kind of thing for the year. Like I said, Alex is running a bit late. He'll be here in a minute. We've been crazy busy over the holidays, so we've been loud and clear, excellent. So we've been because we both, I mean, we're not sort of full-time YouTube guys and podcast guys. We do have other things that we're doing with, working musicians. And between Alex and I, we've been ridiculously busy over the holidays with gigs. And Alex runs a production company where there's live production. And he has his recording studio where we do all the videos usually. It's just been ridiculously busy. So we haven't had time to do anything. We've been a bit slack and falling behind with things. But I'm starting to kind of pick things up again and get things more regularly happening. I've been trying to sort of every second day or so uploading a new video. Now there's one that just went up this morning as well, which is another Mostronics video with two of the new, not new, but a tremolo and a compressor. We thought, should we do a compressor video on its own? And the compressors in a video, I don't know, you can't really do compressor videos, but yeah, so we did that, and hopefully people like it. Hopefully people want to watch it. So if you have any questions, let me know. If there's anything you want to know, I'll just sort of start by saying what we've been doing. So it looks like very exciting thing that's happening very shortly. We should, in the next couple of days, or possibly early next week, we should be receiving some of the new Marshall Studio Series heads. They're coming, which will be awesome. So the Studio Classic and the Studio Vintage, which are 2 amps that are based on a it's like an old like a Marshall Plexi style, super lead style head, but in a 20-watt version, and JCM 800 that's kind of being revamped in a 20-watt version as well, with the 4 different inputs that you then got to jump the inputs and stuff. So really kind of looking forward to seeing that. Oh, actually, well, the Plexi one where you jump the inputs, and you've got the JSM 800 where you have a clean and a dirty input. Yeah, so that's really cool. That's coming in, and that should be hopefully arriving very soon. Looks like we might be doing some work with Boss as well. They're going to send us a couple of things, hopefully, which is pretty exciting. there's always... Hang on, is it going to reach? Because there's all cables everywhere, but there's always more videos with this. Well, the Mod Duo, which I think is absolutely killer. Let's just hang on, there's just cables everywhere that don't reach. There's a huge mess here. Oh, hang on, you can see that microphone. Let's move that. Sorry if that's noisy now. Yeah, but we're just doing, there's a whole bunch of stuff coming, a whole bunch of new things, and let us know what you think. And if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to know, or if you... I sort of possibly have the guitar hooked up now as well. That might work. So if you want us to plug something in, we should maybe be able to do that as well. But yeah, we sort of really get going once Alex gets here, which hopefully should be soon. So, but there's 4 people watching at the moment. But so where's everyone from? Let us know where you're from, and if this time sort of works, because I thought with Australia it's always difficult because we're sort of way ahead of everything else in time. So it's 9:26 in the morning here now on Wednesday the 13th, and I think it's just after midnight Central Europe, and just before midnight in England, and then sort of afternoon yesterday on Tuesday in the States. So where's everyone from? Let us know where you're from. And if this time is actually all right or not, or kind of crappy, or I don't know. It's sort of, we're not quite sure exactly what to do with the live stream, or when to do the live stream thing yet. We're hopefully going to do one once a month coming up now, but it just all depends on, what works. I would really appreciate if you do a comparison of Darkglass overdrives and distortion pedals. I've tried to contact Darkglass, but I haven't heard anything back from them. Yeah, we need, I mean, if they want to send us some stuff, I'd love for them to send us some stuff. And especially also, I mean, a lot of the bass stuff I'd love to try out. And you're waving from Paris. Oh, hello. Bonjour, Paris. Matthew Armstrong, Sunny Coast. Well, that's where we are. Hi, Matthew. And Paris, lovely. Yeah, so let us know if this is is this a good time or is this not a good time? We just sort of thought if we do it later in the day, then it sort of completely kills off Europe, as in time-wise, because it's sort of middle of the night in Europe. And this is sort of afternoon-ish, late afternoon, depending on where you are in the States. So I don't know if this is a good time or a bad time or what the go is, but yeah, just let us know. And yeah, I'll maybe I'll shoot Darkglass an email again. I've tried to contact them because I never actually played any of their stuff, and I hear a lot of good things about it. But yeah, never even tried it, and I'd love to try it. Yeah, 12:28 a.m. Yeah, so it's Central European time, just after midnight, and so I guess I thought some people, I'm usually up still around that time at night, so I thought maybe that would work with some people in Europe, and hopefully that it's sort of just before midnight in England, so that should work, and an afternoon in the States, and morning here in Australia. I guess a lot of people probably go to work, or but now here in Australia, but see how it goes. Yeah, so Darkglass is something it's a company I've tried to contact, and I'd like to do some more stuff with them, but yeah, not as yet. There is for I mean, you talk about overdrives and distortion pedals. We're going to do some more bass related stuff shortly, because I think there's a few more bass things heading our way. But yeah, not Darkglass, but hopefully we'll get... Well, I'll email them again. I'll shoot them an email. Hopefully as well, I started talking to the guys from Rev Amplification, and I'm hoping we might be able to work something out where they send us some stuff to do videos of, because I'd love to try out some of that stuff. But yeah, so not sure. The Mod Duo stuff, there's going to be a whole bunch more stuff coming as well. We're going to look a bit more at some of the distortions and overdrives in it. We actually got a video planned for that already, where we do a bit of a sort of just looking at drives. Jay Steen, hey man, how are you? So yeah, so like I mentioned before, Alex is still coming. There's an empty chair here. He's not a morning person. We said we'll start this at 9 a.m. here, so half an hour ago. And he said, oh, I'll see what I can do. And then at about 10 to 9, I got a message saying, oh, just woke up. I'll just grab a quick bite and come over. So it's about a half an hour drive. So I'm assuming hopefully he'll be here soon. But we'll find out, I suppose. Okay, 5 people watching. Look at that. It's going off. So, yeah, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if there's anything in particular you want us to talk about. There's also, we're going to do a video coming up shortly. We've got these things, which are these sort of little wireless guitar receivers, which are kind of cool. I used them at a couple of gigs, and they work really well. It actually sounds really cool. 6:30 Eastern US, yeah, and I think it's about 3:30 Western as in LA time. So I should have done this. This Arvo might be better time for Europeans. Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to work out a time. We're so far away from everything. Ah, there's Alex. I can see him coming. We're so far away from everything. That's the problem. Very cool. Fingers crossed. I have a hyper. Aha! He's there. We're live already. Yeah, because we're meant to be on half an hour ago. 9 o'clock. That's all right. Come in. There's a coffee for you. So we already have 6 people watching. Hi, Alex.
What's up?
Very cool. Fingers crossed. I have their hyper. Hang on. It's cutting out. There's a coffee for you too.
Thanks.
You're welcome. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Catching up.
Because people are already getting rowdy. All 6 people that we weren't online yet. No, they weren't. But hang on. Leo Road. Very cool. Fingers crossed. I have their hyperluminal compressor and love it. Cool. That was Andrew from Ostronics. Alpha Omega Microtubes X coming. Okay, cool. Which one to get? Yeah. Well, you missed all that. But microtubes. We're talking not microtubes. Dark glass. The microtubes is the pedal. I did message them once before. Have you heard of Dark glass?
Yeah.
Because they do quite good bass preampy stuff.
Known for the bass stuff. Definitely in the metal world.
Yeah. But I have messaged them before, but I haven't got an answer yet. Because they were saying about doing some comparisons with some their overdrives and stuff.
Right.
But I haven't gotten a reply from them.
Coffee's good.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's instant.
Wow.
I was going to make proper coffee, but I ran out of time because I had some audio issues. But the audio seems to be working fine now.
Coffee's good.
Coffee's good.
Soundcheck coffee.
Soundcheck coffee.
Yeah.
So how have you been?
I feel like flat out. Yeah. 10 days of
Fun.
running around, recording, mixing gigs, recording, mixing gigs.
Hi from France. Sadly, I can't stay for long. I have to work in the morning. Yeah, that's one of times is one of the problem. When to do it.
Yeah, you're always going to get someone in nighttime.
Yeah.
Just because of the roundness of the world.
Is it? No, it's
I
flat.
think the roundicity is the word.
No, it's flat.
Yeah.
In Australia, we don't
Right,
exist.
yeah, so you don't exist.
We don't exist.
It's made up by NASA. That's what it is.
Focus the camera. Are we out of focus?
I feel like I'm in focus. Maybe my glasses are dirty.
It seems. I don't know. It looks like we're in focus, but it should be auto-focusing. Hopefully it's auto-focusing because it focus.
There it goes.
You guys have an audience from all over the world. Well, that's the thing. That's the problem.
Yeah. Maybe we need to piss some more people off, and then we.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's great, but the problem is we're so far away here in Australia. So we're 8 hours ahead of Central Europe. 9 hours now ahead of Central Europe. 10 hours ahead of England, and I think 15 hours ahead of East Coast US, and 18 hours ahead of West Coast US. So think it's like 12:30 at night, Central Europe, 11:30 at night, in England, but then it's 6:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast in the US, and 3:30 in the afternoon on the West Coast in the US. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Probably the best time to be doing it would be in the middle of the night here. But that's when we like sleeping and stuff.
That's in the middle of the night. That's when the drop bears come out and attack you.
It's not the live stream that's the wrong time, but the work that's too early. Yeah, true. Well, work, that's annoying.
Yeah, get rid of that.
See, that one of the problems that I have is I went to bed at about 1 last night, but I have kids and they get up early and they need to go to school and stuff. So I went to bed at about 1, a quarter to 1, and I was up at about 6.
Yeah, that is a problem.
I mean, I usually don't sleep anyway, but I don't. Sleeping is overrated. But yeah, so it's sadly, but yeah, we'll work out a time. Let us know. Maybe send us a message or something, and let us know where you're watching from and and what time you would prefer to be on, and then we'll see if we can do something, work around it. I mean, it'll be on YouTube anyway. You can watch it later, but I guess you can't get involved. That's always the thing.
Yeah, it's the chatty bit.
The chatty bit. So, sorry. So going back to what were you saying, Alex? Flat out. You've been flat out.
Yes.
Yes.
That. Yeah. Bunch of recording.
Rockabilly bands.
Gig. Yeah, 2 of them. Started another project with Tim's other band. The guy,
Has he got 2 bands?
the guy that did the solo project. Yeah, he's actually got another band called Twang.
Twang.
But it's a bit more country, bluesy, rootsy kind of stuff. But it still has that rockabilly thing because he plays the slap double bass upright. That's
With flames on it?
No.
Oh, that's boring.
Yeah, he's
Does he stand on it while he's balancing on it while he's playing it?
We actually had that chat. He's got this really old one from Czech Republic or something.
Oh yeah, they make good ones, yeah.
And he said, yeah, you can't stand on this one's really thin.
Well, that's why I guess you use that one for recording, and then you get
Yeah.
the one with the flames for live.
Yeah.
The checkerboard binding.
Set it on fire. And stuff.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that there was a video? I don't know if it was. I think it was Kiss tribute act. I don't think it was actually Paul Stanley.
yeah.
The hair went on fire, and he was like, ah.
Keeps
Singing and keeps playing, and the guy just comes and puts it out. 7 people. Look at that. It's going crazy. So yeah, so let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if you have any questions. It is a Q&A after all. Let us know if there's anything you want to know. I think I sort of have the guitar hooked up, so we can kind of, if you want us to plug something in, we can plug stuff in, and kind of get it going.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I don't know how I'm going to go with actually getting the audio to put this on as a podcast. So we may have to listen back to it and then re-record the audio, like do a voiceover for the podcast.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Get the timing right and everything. And oh, look, there's Alex now. Hello. Ryan. Hello, Ryan. Yeah, so is there anything you want to know? So I already mentioned before, so we're going to have, hopefully, very shortly, we're going to have the new Marshall Studio Series coming. Thanks to the awesome dudes at Electric Factory, which are the Australian distributors of Marshall. Watching from the airport, Detroit, Michigan, USA. Oh, you off somewhere or you're working at the airport, Jay Steen?
I assume go off somewhere because if he's working, he probably can't watch YouTube.
Oh, that's just planes landing and stuff. Maybe he's a guy with the table tennis, the paddles things going down, but now he's got a phone, so all the planes go on.
Watch out for international plane news.
Detroit.
That's cool.
Hang on, anyone else saying it? Okay, is the camera focusing? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Well, just stupid amount of stuff. I've been putting up new video every second day now, so I've been editing.
Yes.
And yeah, just gigs, and sadly the thing is now the gigs, because over the actually picking up the family here. Okay, cool. The problem during, like, because here in Australia, because some people don't quite grasp that, because did you see that message? The guy saying, "Who wears jean shorts in February?"
Yeah.
So there's this thing called the Southern Hemisphere, and it's summer here now. It's cold there. I know it's freezing cold, and it's a very cold winter in the Northern Hemisphere, but it's quite a hot summer here. was about 36 degrees, which is I think about 100 degrees Fahrenheit yesterday.
It's 1 million in Fahrenheit.
1 million in Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So anyway, we just had the summer school holidays, so Christmas, summer holidays here in Australia. So the kids were.
And they're like the long holidays because.
Hello, Sasha. Watching from Germany. Need to sleep, but how dare you do a live stream? I know that's always how I feel when I watch guys like Henning.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just sitting there watching YouTube, and I go, oh, I'll go to bed now. And then Henning starts a live stream, and I go, damn it.
No sleep for me.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was saying. So summer holidays here. And we live in an area in Australia. It's called the Sunshine Coast. I'm sort of near Noosa. And it's a very touristy area. So, and I mean, I'm a working muso, so I do gigs and stuff. So is Alex. And during the holidays is always lots of extra work because a lot of venues have extra music because there's lots of people around.
Yeah.
Everyone give them a thumbs up. Yes, thumbs up and share it. Let other people know. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your friends to tell their family, and so on, so on, so on. And yeah, watch. There's 8 people now. We're going crazy.
Wow. Off
I know. Yeah. Anyway, so school holidays and touristic area. So I've been doing crap loads of gigs. So December, January, it's been 4, 5, 6 gigs a week. And on top of that, I do have a family. I have kids and stuff. So you got to do stuff with them. And now the kids are back at school. But the problem now is I also teach guitar, but I only teach during the school time. I don't teach during the holidays.
Yeah.
So now, like this afternoon, for example, I'm off to teach guitar. And then I still do 3, 4 gigs a week. And then on top of that, trying to edit videos, trying to film videos, trying to do live streams. It's a lot of stuff to do. And we're trying to keep also, upkeeping the house and maintenance around and life stuff, and it's just never ending. So lots of stuff going on, but hopefully now, kids back at school. Hopefully once everything settles in,
routine going.
Get a bit of a routine going and get back into doing some more. I really want to. My sort of goal for this year is more regular videos. So I'm trying to do this thing now every second day, where whether that would work or not, don't know. But because a lot of people do videos every day, but then again they do that for a living too, and we don't. So
yeah, and they probably don't have chillin'. Yeah, the small children.
Chillins,
That's
yes.
Plural.
Chillins, yes. That's sure. He lives in Nambour.
These are rad. So I got distracted by a shiny thing.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Where were we? Going back to. So we've got the Marshall Studio series coming. So there should be videos. There'll be when it first arrived. There'll be some sort of an unboxing, and first impressioning.
I was looking at some demo stuff from NAMM of that studio series last night.
They sound great.
They do sound.
They sound really, really good.
I'm really keen on the Plexi thing.
Yeah.
It's got the 5-watt mode.
I'm very interested to compare it to the Marshall Origin.
Yeah.
But the other day, there's like this kind of local group of that chat, and like a messenger chat thing, Instagram, Facebook Messenger chat thing. And one of the guys, Aaron, from Sleepwalk Amps.
Yeah, we've done video and podcast with him.
Done a video podcast with him. Awesome dude. He said, did you see that when he wrote it? He said his dad has an Origin 50 and he A-B'd it with his actual old...
Is it
JMP?
JMP.
And he said he could barely tell the difference. I don't know. I think these amps, I think they're really good. A lot of people give them crap and go, oh, I can hear that noise in it and all that stuff, but I can't. And they're made in Vietnam, so what? But it'd be very interesting to hear the difference between that and the Plex. This is 50 watts, the other one's 20 watts. But just tonally, the good thing is with, because I use the Torpedo stuff, you can crank them both. And just listen, not volume, but just tone.
Yeah, the power amps saturation.
Yeah, I'm really keen to hear it. You should get the Moog MF drive while it's still available. Best ODI own. That's actually one I really would like to get my hands on.
Yeah, because I've got the MF Trem. Yeah.
The Trem, and that's killer.
And yeah, it's fun.
I'd like to get my hands on more of the Moog stuff.
And
Again, Moog is not a company that talks to us. We're not
yeah,
big enough. I don't think they really talk to many people generally.
actually. So speaking of that, this guy I've became friends with on Facebook. I think I bought a microphone or something, some bit of gear off him. Turns out he's married to the girl I grew up next door to, like when we were kids, little kids.
Ah.
So this small world thing. And anyway, yeah, Stuart, he, I think he's a doctor or something, but he dabbles in music and has a little home studio set up.
Does he have a PRS?
PRS.
Because doctors...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's actually into synths and got a bunch of the big Moog.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, got some cool stuff. And I think he plays, he's got an old Rhodes and stuff and runs into a Twin and pedals. And, like, cool.
Okay.
Fun stuff. And the other day he's like, yeah, my brother got sent a Moog 1.
Really? Because they're like stupidly expensive. Wow.
Moog sent him his brother a Moog 1.
Who's his brother?
His brother's in Tame Impala.
Okay, well, there you go. That helps.
Which I only just put two and two together the other day because he said, "Oh, my brother's got married, but I can't show any photos because it's like a celebrity wedding."
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Well, there you go.
small world.
Maybe we should talk to him
Actually, yeah.
and then
should
get
talk to him anyway.
his brother to come on and play some Moog 1 for us.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Tame Impala, give up on that band.
Yeah.
Guys, just come and do
Going nowhere.
Go and do some sessions for us.
So,
No, the Moog stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I the only Moog pedal I have is that one, and this is killer. And I'd like to focus.
oh,
Here we go. I'd like to get some more of. I mean, because especially since they've discontinued these.
what's the one with the 5 faders? That's
Is that the Murph?
I think so. Brad's got that one. Drummer Brad.
Oh, drummer Brad.
Yeah.
Well, that's like it's kind of like a sequencer, not sequencer, but it sort of sends out
Excuse me. Yeah.
like different, like you can decide what it sends out, kind of thing. So it
Right.
can make. Well, I don't know. It's sort of like a almost like a
That filter thing?
step filter kind of thing. But I
Okay.
think you can send that info because it's all with all the Moog stuff, the bigger ones.
Some CV.
You've got all that, which is really cool actually, which I need to get in more. But you basically into more. You've basically got an output for every focus, for every single different thing. So you've got you can send the cutoff. Anyway, so you can interact. Yeah, no, they're cool. They're really cool. Hang on. So while I'm still awake, how about the new Digitech pedal, Obscura and Ventura Vibe are great. You did the Robot, which I didn't like too much. Which one's the new Digitech pedal?
Oh, I don't think that new, but there's like the is it Obscura delay? I'll find a picture.
Okay. Well, Digitech again. See, one of the problems is getting your hands on these things. So we either have to buy it, or
Steal it.
steal it, or find someone smaller than us who we can. Oh yeah, that yeah.
It's the same series as the Dirty Robot, Sexy Robot.
I mean, I love a lot of Digitech stuff. I'm a big fan, especially of DoD. You can't see it, but there's a whole wall of DoD and Digitech, old Digitech stuff. Because I mean, Digitech was DoD originally. That was DoD was the analog side. Digitech was the digital side of DoD. I do have a bunch of Digitech stuff I really like. Actually, my pedal board is just down here. I've got the Freak Out on my board right now. But you haven't had a chance.
What does it say? Oh, great. Oh, so you've tried the Ventura
Vibe.
Yeah, I haven't tried those, but they're like if they're from the same series, they're built really well, if nothing else.
The hardwire. Is it hardwire?
Yeah,
They're such good pedals.
they're kind of ugly, but sound great.
Yeah, and it was sort of
built
like Digitech, it was
built
kind
like
of
tanks.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, the problem for us here in Australia always is, so we have to get in touch quite often, especially bigger companies like Digitech. which is Harman, which is huge, you know.
Yeah.
So they won't talk to us directly, and then you talk to the Australian. They said talk to the Australian distributor, and then you talk to the Australian distributor, and they don't particularly want to send us anything either because it has a name for itself anyway.
Yeah.
And it's such a global brand, so they don't necessarily need to send us anything. Or it's hard. Like, I was really amazed that Electric Factory is sending us the Marshall stuff. Because, I mean, Marshall, again, doesn't necessarily need it, but maybe they like the idea of having some smaller guys like us do that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I'd love to try some of the Digitech stuff.
I actually do know of
Milos from MP Custom.
Sorry,
Well,
it's too far away.
I tried to make it
Yeah.
bigger, but then it
Yeah,
squishes
he actually sometimes posts stuff on our pedal page.
on the
Yeah.
and I know his stuff through Henning again as well.
Sure.
We should get in touch with him actually.
Okay, I'll do that this week.
I bought a few pedals because of Henning's reviews, and they're incredible. Yeah, with Henning's face on it.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that.
There's a couple of them. He had a couple of them. They're meant to be really, really good, and yeah, we should get in touch with him. Because I'd love to do some stuff with him. And what was the other one? Scat with a Z
Scat.
from Latvia.
Zcat.
Also fantastic. Not so well known, but amazing. Great customer support. Well,
Oh, that's good.
that's kind of stuff we should get in touch with. Actually, it's amazing. I think a lot of European countries now are absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, with pedal making. I mean, France has been, I think, up there for quite a while now. But I mean, aren't Game Changer Audio from Latvia as well?
Possibly.
Or Estonia? One of the three, either Latvia, Lithuania, or Estonia. One of them. I think they're from Latvia. And they're killing it at the moment. Did you see that keyboard they made?
Good night, Sasha.
Good night. See you. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're from Latvia. Did you see the keyboard they made with the electro motors?
Oh, yeah, briefly. I didn't actually get it.
And they made a pedal as well.
Maybe I saw the pedal. I didn't see the keyboard. You told me about it, though.
So they have a full size keyboard that has, like, I'm just gonna say number 36 possibly.
Yeah.
Of these little electro motors. And when you hit a key, the motor spins at a certain speed, which gives that a certain frequency, I guess. And then there's different ways of, there's like an optical circuit that takes, I don't know how these things work. Wait, I just got it. No, I'm not, we're not going. Sasha's going. We're staying.
Everyone say goodnight to Sasha.
Bye, Sasha. No, we're not going. We only just started. We're at least another half an hour or so, or hour, or however long we're going to go. See how many people are watching.
See how long the coffee lasts.
So,
I mean, the effect of
it
the
lasted.
The effect of the coffee.
It's gone.
Well,
It's empty.
That's kind of like the same mad like engineering as the candelabra phasey.
The Zvex thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Where you've got the candle that makes it. Yeah, but it's this huge keyboard, and you hit a key, and the little motors spin, and then it somehow picks up the sound and translates it into. But then they made a little one with, I think, 3 motors in it, or 2 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
And you played a guitar through it, and it's sort of like a synthy fuzzy sound.
Cool.
They do cool stuff,
Yeah.
and then the plasma thing, and then now they have the rack mount plasma thing, and.
I must get the rack mount one just for the light show.
Matthews effects look nice. They made an Architect version 3. Yeah, the Matthews effect. Well, Rick sent us the Architect. That's the Klon thing. When we did the Klon shootout. So maybe we'll see if we can get some more stuff. I think he got. I don't know if it was because of us, but he got quite sick, or he was quite sick after he sent us the pedal. I don't know if we made him sick, but
Australian disease.
But I'd love to try some more Matthews effects. His stuff is really cool, and I love the way it looks too.
Yeah,
really good design.
I really like it too.
Have you guys tried my favorite vibrato pedal, the Bigfoot Magnified? No, but I really want to.
Oh.
That's one that I've been trying to get a hold of, but
I think vibrato is one of those things I need to explore more. It's kind of like retro fuzzes that I haven't played a lot of. Like I haven't played a lot of fuzz faces or tone bender things, and vibrato is probably one of those. groups.
One of my absolute favorite vibratos, and that's one of the reasons why I want to try the Earthquaker devices vibrato too. One of my favorite vibratos is in, and it isn't working right now because it kind of fried itself, and hopefully Aaron can fix it. But the GX700, Boss GX700, and it's one of my favorite vibratos in it because you can do this thing called an envelope vibrato, where you strum a chord and there's no vibrato, and as the chord rings out, the vibrato comes in. So it's like a reverse, and or not reverse, but it's
like a whammy bar for effect. Like
kind of like it comes in on the trails. Yeah, so it's kind of like an envelope filter, where the harder you hit it, the more the filter opens. In this case, you strum. If you hit something harder, the vibrato's gone, and then it fades in. And I think there's the Earthquaker Devices tremolo. Is it the Aqueduct? Is that what it's called, or something like that?
Yeah.
Could it be the Aqueduct?
The newish one.
The newish one, yeah. Has one of the settings is that envelope controlled one, and I'd really like to do that because that's one of my absolute favorites, vibrato wise. But yeah, I quite like vibrato, but I like wiggly sounds that make things go out of tune. Yep. I kind of like the sort of out of tunishness of things. What else is there? I bought the Matthews Architect version 2 from your demo. Excellent. Well, thank you very much. It was one of our favorites in the Clon shootout.
It wasn't very clonish, but it was just a really good overdrive. I remember they kind of took it and did their own thing.
Yeah, because it has there's an active EQ on it.
3-band EQ.
3-band EQ on it and stuff like that. And it's a killer sound. It was. Yeah. I definitely remember that one. The Mojo Hand, Sacred Cow.
The Anasound.
Anasound Savage.
The Stereotone one's good.
Oh, and the Green Child. The whatever it is, 818.
Yeah, is that it?
That's a killer pedal too. Actually, that's K818. Because that's got the Tube Screamer side on it as well. It's really that was really cool. Well, excellent. I'm glad you bought it because of our demo.
Cool.
The Magnatone is wonderful. Pitch shifting vibrato. Yeah, I really would like to try it out. I've heard a lot about it, but I haven't had a chance to try it out yet.
Bought a GX700.
Because I recommend it on the podcast. Yeah. Oh, no worries. I think it's awesome. It's sadly, I just took it out of the rack. It used to be there. But something happened to it, and it's
something happened on the way to heaven.
It made a sort of a popping sound, and it fried a bit. But yeah, there it is. But I've got to take it to our friend Aaron. Hopefully he can fix it. Hopefully it's not something major. I absolutely love that thing. It's one of the things I always wanted when I was younger. There was a local music shop that had it, and it was quite expensive. When it first came out.
I remember them in guitar magazines and
I was always drooling over it, and then I found one really quite cheap from Japan, and they sent it to me on eBay. I bought it, and I absolutely love the thing. I think it's everything on it is really good, because I mean it's meant to have a lot of the Boss pedals on it.
Yep.
But a lot of the Boss pedals have more. You have more control over the Boss pedals in it than on the Boss pedal on the single pedals. It's killer. I think it's an absolutely killer rack mount, and it goes quite cheap now. And the stereo effects are really good, and it's excellent. Well, I'm glad people get things and enjoy things because we recommend it. The guy's name is Jared Kamen at Bigfoot Effects. What are we talking? What is that about? Rick Jones. Oh, the Magnify. Oh yeah, cool. Well, maybe we'll message Jared and talk to him.
Thanks.
The Rimrock Mythical Overdrive. We did a video of that too, and that was one of the good ones. I actually, hang on, what did I swapped that for something. What did I swap that for? Ooh, the Grey Channel. The Earthquaker Grey Channel. I don't think
I've tried that yet.
I don't think I've really tried it.
No one's tried it.
It was just one of those things we kind of have it's only meant for people that live in Australia, but we have this, it's called Guitar Pedal Trading Australia Facebook group, and it's to for trading and selling pedals, and yeah, there's a bit of swappage going on every once in a while, which is quite nice.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like your stuff you're not using, you trade for.
Because I mean, we ended up after the Klon thing, the whole, which went on for such a long time.
Saga.
We ended up with quite a lot of Klons or Klon style pedals, and I think well, there's ones I kept over there.
Yeah, cool.
I really quite like it's not totally a Klon, but the Idiot Box hand tone. I really connected with that. I still think the Phoenix by, what are they called? Tone Monk.
Yeah.
That's still one of the best Klons still. Sick As is killer. The K818 Mason is killer. You ended up with the Sacred Cow, which I think was probably one of my favorites. Oh, and of course
You've got
the Keeley one. The Oxblood. That was another one of our absolute favorites in the Klon shootout. Focus. There we go.
Hey,
that was another one that we really liked.
I still want to try the Keeley. What's the Keeley Blues Driver one? The Fat Driver or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to try some more of the Keeley stuff. And some of the new Keeley stuff looks really cool that they just released. The triple delay on the GX700 is unbeatable. There's lots of things on the GX700 that are really, really, really good.
Maybe we should explore some more old rack stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've got a sweet Zoom now.
The sweet Zoom. I've been looking at some Zoom stuff too. I would like to get some more rack stuff. I'm actually going to redo some of my stuff back here to have more space for racks. I just got this thing.
Are you going to give me the Echo Pro?
Yeah, sure, no.
Yes, I know.
There's a space there for the Mod Pro. That'll eventually happen. And next time I hang out with the Edge, I'm going to steal one of his Drive Pros, or what, I don't know what you call them.
The Bling Pro.
The golden rack mount distortion one.
Next time you hang out with the Edge. It's the next Thursday, funny enough.
Just whenever he's sick of Ireland, of the weather, and he comes here. No, well, I don't hang out with the Edge, sadly, but
Actually,
Sorry.
Speaking of,
do
you use, is it the GP8 or whatever it is? The black one?
Oh no, that's not hooked up at the moment. The problem with that is with the straight jacks, it's too deep for that cupboard. I need to get angled jacks to hook it up in the back. But that's sort of hooked up at the moment. But that's kind of cool too, the GP8.
Yeah.
So that's
they might have some cool panny things. And
it's black, probably hard to see, but it's just there. It's like a I think it's all analog too, except for the delay and reverb are digital on it.
Yeah, right.
But all the other effects on it are still analog in it.
Would you say it's digitally controlled analog effects?
No, I think that. Oh yeah, well I guess they're digitally controlled. Yes, yes. It doesn't say that on it. Okay. I bought that one ages ago off some people, of guys in a band called Funky Love Tank.
You know what you're getting into there.
Oh yeah, and it comes with. I've got a foot controller for it too, and it's actually really cool. It's a really cool sounding thing, but I haven't had a chance to use it. And this cabinet is not deep enough. It's one of those really deep rack units.
Yeah.
And it's way deeper than all the other ones combined. But yeah, and I was just pointing at that before. I just got this Warm Audio 1176 style compressor, which is kind of cool. And I also just got the POG, so it's upright now, so you can see it. Because it's cool.
It's a POG party.
POG party. Best party around.
Like it's a thing.
Yeah, but I'd like to get it more into some old rack stuff. The GX700 is killer. Your Zoom thing sounded really cool.
I was actually surprised. I got it for, was it $25? I had to provide my own power supply, which is 9-volt power. Had to scrape around in the barrel of power supplies to go. But what model is it? Something 12?
1201?
Yes.
Because I think there's one I've been looking at is a 1204, which looks really cool, which is a vocoder in it too.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, Zoom What better than a Zoom vocoder?
And it's all like it's basically all presets. So you got like decay and stuff for your reverbs and delays, but there's just variations, so you can have like more pre-delay or less pre-delay or darker or like 1 to 10. It's idiot proof.
Cool. So it's good for me.
Yes.
This one.
Proof of you. Yeah, same series. Oh, is that it?
Is it focusing? That's kind of what it looks like. This 1201. Yeah, and we had in the last couple of videos we used the reverb in it.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
That's funny.
Bigfoot also has a really cool fuzz pedal called the Spaghetti Western. Yeah, I'd like to try out some of the Bigfoot stuff. It looks really kind of cool. Morning, lads. Hope you tried
Hey, James.
the TC Electronics M300 rack.
No, but I've got the... What's mine? The M1?
Well, it's 200. That one's 299 better.
It's like Rogue One.
I haven't tried the TC Electronics M300 rack yet.
I think it's... Is that like a multi-effects, like, live audio type one?
Let's find out. Let's have a look.
Blanket on names.
TC Electronic M300. Let's look at some images.
Yeah, another one. It's like the silver.
Oh, is that one of the newer ones?
Yeah.
It's like maybe 2 years ago or something? Or...
Oh, no, it's like 10 years ago.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What's the one? There's one that they only released a couple of years, maybe a couple of years ago at NAMM or something like that. Was it new, cheaper TC Electronic rack?
No, it's been around for a while. I've used it on PAs before.
Are you guys going to do another shootout like the Klon one? Or was this one too exhausting and you don't want to...
Yeah, it's
the Klon one was pretty full on, yeah. I think it ended up being more full on than we thought it would be.
We thought about doing maybe a fuzz one, like Big Muff shootouts or...
One of the things, and there's actually been a couple of comments on the Boss Fender reverb one. It's like a spring reverb kind of thing.
That could be cool.
Maybe we could talk to our friend Alex at Anasound and get one of his, because that looks really cool.
Yes, that's fun.
Proper spring reverb, and it's 3 different size reverb tanks. A small one, a medium one, and a large one that you can kind of attach to the bottom of your pedal board or anywhere, and then you have a foot pedal size controller to kind of control it with tone options and all that stuff in it as well. And this thing, this thing is really cool. The Spring King, King.
Oh, that, yeah.
That's a really cool reverb, springy sort of reverb. Actually, just again on the GX700, the reverbs on that are really cool.
Yeah.
There is some... Actually, surprisingly also, you probably can't see it, but there's a tiny little Alesis thing here.
Oh, yeah. The mini rack thing.
Mini rack. No, it's not the mini rack. It's a nano. Oh, no. Nanoverb. Alesis Nanoverb.
Yeah.
There's some really cool reverbs on that.
Cool.
That's why I've got it hooked up.
Well, you've got a whole nother rack space where that is sitting. You could put another rack unit in there.
It just doesn't quite fit in there, but I was thinking some half rack stuff maybe.
Sure.
But no, I'm going to change everything. There's going to be more underneath it. I want more space for racks. I want more rack stuff.
Cool. We
might see... Rick Jones, time for my dinner. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy your dinner.
See ya.
See you, Rick. Thanks for joining in. G'day from the Blue Mountains. Justin. Hello, Justin. We're a bit further north. We're in, sunny Queensland. But hello, Justin. Reverb shootout would be great. The new Anasounds one looks very promising. It certainly does. Pedals flipping phase. No.
Unless you've got a dodgy patch cable that's wired backwards. So, no, that wouldn't work.
I don't know.
Because it's only ground and...
I mean, phase... Wouldn't you only really have phase issues if you run in stereo?
Yeah. Probably.
That's the only time really you could have phase issues.
What do you mean by... Yeah, what's your setup? Maybe expand on that.
Yeah. Your reverb... I think reverb shootout could be kind of cool. So maybe with the Anasounds one... I guess, some of the Keeley stuff again.
Like, where do you start? Do you go just like spring verbs, or do you like...
Or what about spring verb emulation? Although I think Ryan from 60 Cycle Hum kind of did something like that, because he's big into spring reverbs. The surf thing, the drippiness. Yeah.
Actually, someone came and recorded the other day and just had like a Boss digital reverb, and the spring sounded really cool. It was like...
Well, actually, I wouldn't mind. There's one guy on the pedal trading thing.
Yeah.
Has is it RV500? Boss? Yeah. And I think he wants $400 for it, but it's open to trades.
Right.
It's kind of tempted, because actually one of my favourite reverbs...
Flint?
No. Is this one. This is actually really... Zoom, focus, there we go. This is one of my favourite reverbs.
Maybe that was it he used.
the RV3. Well, there's an RV5 now,
All right.
which is a new one, but
Two better.
it's too bad. They always skip the 4.
Two more
which,
springs.
thanks to Tim at Module Stomp Boxes, we know where to skip the 4 because 4 is a bad number and it's closely related with death or similar to death. Anyway, so they skipped 4 always in Japan. But I really quite like the RV3. And actually, I love this thing. This thing is fantastic. There we go. I really wanted to do, while you had the Space Echo thingy, I wanted to do a shootout.
Yeah.
But we didn't get around to doing that.
He took it.
He took it. Bastard.
Well, Brad's got a 201.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can talk to Brad.
Yeah.
Maybe even go to his studio.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
His newly set up studio. This is Brad. If you want to watch him drum,
Yeah, friend.
a friend of ours, we did with a Zork Blow.
Yeah, so I put guitar effects on a snare drum
Yeah.
mic.
And
Yeah.
it sounded really good.
It's fun, hey? Very fun.
Hang on, what are we...
Chatting away.
I've got a Korg
Rotary?
G4 rotary and that flips face when engaged. My wet dry rig. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, wet dry rig. Yeah. I'm not sure how that exactly works. How you go about that in a wet dry rig with phase flipping. I know there are some things. I know, for example, I've got down here. You can't see it, but I've got the Boss ES8 that I use, and I think we're gonna get a Boss ES5 as well. The guys from Boss are gonna send us one.
I actually want to try the 3 with the effects.
The MS3, yeah, I think we're talking about that as well, getting one of them, and hopefully down the track, the amp expander thing.
The rotary thing, I'm pretty sure Aaron has one of those and loves it. He loves it.
The Korg, it's like a big
Yeah,
sort of brownie thing, sort of thing. I think John Mayer uses it. As far as right, like Leslie sound. But I know, like what I was going to say, some like loop switches have a phase switching capability when you use 2 outputs.
And sometimes you can get like in and out boxes, like your interfacer,
Yeah,
that have phase switches.
phase switches on it.
Otherwise, you could just. How could you do that?
I mean, I know, for example, a lot of.
Yeah.
Again, it's down here. You probably can't see it. No, I've got a down here to switch between my amps. I've got down here. I've got a radial Twin City ABY switcher.
Yeah.
So it's like just to, and that has a phase switch in it.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility, and you can with this because it's ABY, so you can have either one channel or the other channel or both, and you can flip the phase in that. But that's always the thing, I guess, when you run stereo rigs. That's the problem.
Yeah. Maybe try looking at a that kind of switcher that has a phase on one of them.
Well, I know Radial do them,
Yep.
but they're quite expensive, but they're really good quality. Radial will. I've had a Radial DI that I've used. I don't know, for the last 10 years, at 180 gigs a year.
Yep.
No issues.
That's good stuff.
Of course, now it'll be broken next time I plug it in. It's on my acoustic board, and it's just my. But check that. Oh, there's also Loopy pedals. He's based in Brisbane. He's from. He makes some really, really cool stuff. He does a lot of these sort of switching options. So you may just be able to get a little box that you plug your lead in and out that has a phase switch on it.
Let's Google that.
But yeah, I know that's stereo rigs. That's always the issue. That pedal show did a good video on phase and wet and dry rigs recently. Yeah, see the thing with the guys in that pedal show is they have the Gig Rig G2, which has a phase switching thing in it. And I think you maybe, I don't know, they have, Gig Rig makes a little box as well that has a phase switching thing on it. Yeah, it's just one of those things, sadly, with stereo rigs that you've got to watch the phase. But yeah, check out. I'm sure there would be something that, like, just some little thing that you can put in between one of the outputs, like that would then switch the polarity.
Say so.
What are you looking at?
An art one.
Or art. I thought it was an arse one.
An art one.
ART, yeah.
Looks like it's got phase.
Yeah, like ABY switches. I think
phase
that's
ground loop. Direct isolate. Yeah.
ABY switches are probably, that's something to look at.
But obviously with.
Onsen, hello. love a live stream. What's the most expensive amp you've ever owned? That I've ever owned. Well, most of the amps I've owned, probably. Well, okay, at the time when I bought it, or now.
I haven't owned many really expensive amps.
Well, I used to have an old Silverface. I don't know if they're expensive, really that expensive now, but I used to have an old Silverface Twin Reverb, like from the, I think that's late 70s or something like that. Yeah. Which at the time, mid 90s, was cheap as chips. Which is one of the reasons I bought it. Stupidly heavy and awkward, which is why I got rid of it. And probably more expensive now because it's a more vintagey thing. But most of the amps I sort of own and regularly use are these. Actually, that's a new one there too, which is really cool. The little Ibanez Tube Screamer. That's not expensive, no. When I bought it, probably that Fender Hot Rod DeVille.
Yeah.
Because I bought that when it first came out. That was the amp I got after the Twin Reverb, which surprisingly, even though it's a 4x10, is smaller and weighs about half as much as the Twin Reverb.
Yeah.
So probably that one. I don't really remember. Because, I mean, the Marshall wasn't that expensive.
No.
The Fender was secondhand and was really cheap, which is why I bought it. And it's, I think, probably one of the best amps I've ever bought. That thing is not very expensive.
Is it still working?
No, I still need to go to Aaron. It hasn't worked for ages. I need to go to Aaron one time. There's 3 things that he needs to fix. And this thing, I don't know what they were like at the time when it came out.
They weren't that expensive.
But that was quite cheap when I bought it.
Yeah.
And that's a killer amp, actually. If you find them second hand.
For those who aren't watching the video, it's the Ibanez Tube Screamer head.
Yes. Oh, yeah. There's a podcast, possibly. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I don't know how I'm going to get the audio, because I tried to get Logic running at the same time, but Logic and...
Oh, not recording through there.
I can't, because I'm using that as an interface. Because I wanted to have the guitar going.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. See what happens. It may or may not be
awesome.
A podcast. Justin Cool signing off now. Thanks. More DoD, please. It's coming. There's a whole wall of DoD that you can't see over here.
There's a shrine with like incense and stuff.
There will be definitely. There's actually a new DoD video going up day after tomorrow. So,
nice.
Well, in about 48 hours, whatever. It may be tomorrow for you in America. But so Friday morning here, so Thursday afternoon. There's a new. There's the sneak peek to Icebox. The DoD Icebox is going up.
Okay.
I've got that tiny little I've got a tiny little TV looking Tube Screamer combo. Oh yeah, well the combo version of that.
Yeah,
they're cool amps. I didn't really know until now that they're based on a Princeton. So it's basically a Fender Princeton-y, clone-y kind of thing with a Tube Screamer circuit in front of it and a boost, and it's killer. It's a really, really good sounding little amp. I think it's fantastic.
What do you love about the Bass Breaker so much?
What do I love about the Bass Breaker? To me, it's like one of the most versatile sounding Fender amps ever.
Yeah.
They just released. I actually just watched a video, Anderton's video last night, the 30-watt version, and they were raving about it too. I just think it has such a cool variety of sounds, and they're all good.
Yeah.
The clean's great. The in-between sounds great. The distortion's great. It's 15 watts, so it's, you can crank it a bit. I
think it's like this mid-range that other Fenders don't have. Like, it's not quite as scooped as the classic Fender.
No, well, it doesn't. It's and that's the other thing I always say. I think it's one of the best sounding Marshall amps ever made, or recently made. Sorry, just there because it's.
My
there. It's better at Marshall sounds than a lot of Marshalls. It'll be interesting actually to hear once the Studio Series ones come.
Yeah.
Yes, awesome. It's hang on. I think it's actually plugged in at the moment. Let's see. I think that's the one that's actually running. Let's get some music happening. Maybe let's see if this works. So that's the bass breaker on the. I think it's on the medium gain. That's sort of my favorite setting is the medium gain structure. I even like the reverb. A lot of people whinge about the reverb because it's digital and it's like more of a platey kind of sounding, hall kind of sounding reverb. Is that? Can you hear that? Dewey, how you doing, man? That's someone I actually know. That's someone who was around back in the days, the crazy days of original music in the 90s. So that's the it's just such a nice sound. And you know, you dig in. And I mean, they're not super high output pickups, but I guess for single coils, they're quite high output pickups. And it's such a lovely sound. And it's.
But again, it has that like low mid push thing,
which is very Fender. But I think that's one of the reasons I like it. I've been a Fender guy my whole life. We can hear the amp. Sounds good. Excellent. Thank you. And there were good times back in the days. And now we're old and have kids and stuff like that. But you know, who's? I just think it's one of my. It's such a cool sounding amp, and it's one of those amps. We a little while ago, and they're all gone sadly. But we did a bunch of videos for a music shop up here called Malulaba Music, and they're all. I don't know. They took them all down. I don't quite know why, but anyway. And when the Bass Breaker series first came out, they gave us the 15 and the 1830. And I think we tried out, but we didn't do a video of the. Was it the Deluxe 45? Is that what it was called?
The bigger one.
There was an even one bigger one.
I don't think we did a video now.
And the 1830 was one of those ones that it sounded great, but you had to crank it, and it was stupidly loud.
So awesome, like that.
It was. You were standing there because it has. They have these cardboard cutouts they have sitting on top with suggested settings. Yeah. And what cab is it through? Oh, it's going through the Two Notes Torpedo. E.T. Van Hol. It's going to the Two Notes Torpedo.
Oh, that's really weird. Yeah, it's over there on the rack.
It's back there, but you know, with a 4x12 called Rad Cat. Which is my favourite cab in there. But no, it's no EQ or anything. It's just totally straight. It's just that cab. What was it saying?
1830.
Oh yeah, the 1830. It has the suggested settings, and one of them was like, what was it called?
Like Crunch
or something like that. And because I think the idea was it was the 18 watt side. One channel was an 18 watt side, and channel 2 was the 30 watt side. And the 30 watt side was based on a Fender Deluxe.
Something like that. Yeah, the other one was like a
more blues breakery kind of, like more Marshall-y kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the 18 watt side, I think it only had a volume and a tone control. I think that's it. Nothing else. And it was one of those things to get crunch out of it. It was like you had to crank it. And it was 18 watts, but it was the loudest amp I've ever heard in my life.
Because it's two 12s too, so it's pushing air.
Yeah, and you were standing there, you had earmuffs on. I was there filming the thing, and literally the house was shaking.
Yeah.
And you were there with the earmuffs on still going, oh. It was ridiculously loud.
But super cool to use that outdoors at a festival.
It sounded great, but it was just too ridiculously loud. But the 15, I remember they gave us a 15 combo, and I took it home. And I remember sitting there and going, there is no bad sounding setting.
Yeah.
Anything I did, it sounded good. And I was hunting for the heads for a while, and then locally a guy was selling it, and really cheap.
Nathan.
Guy you knew.
Yeah, once or twice met him.
And I went and met his mum and dad and had a lengthy chat with them, and they were lovely people too. Because he
plays with Pete Allen.
Oh, does he? Okay, all right.
Or did do? I think he's moved away now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I bought that because I wanted one, because for my studio here I use pretty much always the. It's so weird turning it back to front, using the Torpedo, because there's just not enough room to have a place where I can mic things up, and I love it. I think this is one of the best things I've ever bought, the Two Notes Torpedo. I think it's just absolute killer. I've also got a while I'm doing awkward things, the Fender is going into this, and the Marshall is going into the captor right next to it, and then that goes into a Torpedo cab, which is just not a load box, but just a cab emulator, which is here in my rack here. And I've got an ABY switch, which is that radial, and I can switch between. So this is the Fender, and this hopefully is a Marshall. Through the same cab, but in the Torpedo, in a different thing, but it's the same cab.
It's like, see, if you had to choose blindly which one's Marshall, which one's Fender,
You'd think this is the Fender,
you'd be backwards there.
and this is the Marshall, but it's just such a nice sound. I absolutely love this amp. So yeah, I was hunting for one of them for a while, and it came up really cheap, and I bought it. Because I honestly think there's no bad setting on it. It's, I mean, have a fiddle, and I change some settings.
Okay. Actually, why don't we change some cabs?
Change some cabs?
Yeah, as an experiment.
No, you're going crazy, man. Okay, hang on. Well, let's start off with... Such a cool sound.
Yeah.
And all I did was switch the a bit more reverb and turn the master down, but I just changed the high gain. And I think when you hit the bright switch, you can get almost voxy sounds as well.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Clean Fender thing. I just think it's such a versatile amp and takes pedals really well. In saying that, I think the Marshall takes a lot of, especially distortion pedals, better, and that's one of the reasons why I kept the Marshall, because it's...
So I'm getting down.
See, I think that the Fender is on its own, and if you just want that break up kind of clean sound, it's killer. But especially like heavier distortion pedals, like... And I mean, I was mega surprised. I've got an old Boss DS1 over there. That sounded so good going into the Marshall. Like, and it doesn't sound anywhere near as good into that.
That's a different top end here.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, top end is different. Mids are different. I bet it would sound great with a Klon or treble booster. They do say it does. Yeah. So the Milo Overdrive and the Klon style and Tube Screamer style sounds really good into this. But then you get into the heavier gain stage, more distortion-y sounds into the Marshall. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, I think it's a killer thing. All right, do you want to swap? Hang on, let's go back to the...
Do you want to try that?
Different cabs?
Yeah.
Sure.
Like as an experiment.
So let's keep that as that's a slightly overdriven.
Yeah, edge of breakup.
Edge of breakup sound. Let's keep that. Okay, let's go. So I've got to open up the 2 notes Torpedo remote on here now. So right now we're using the Radcat 25 watt 4x12. Let's do some more of my presets. So for example, so this is now a 2x12, which is called a Fortin Custom. And I think it's one of those things where with them, there's 2 and there's one where the speakers are mounted from the outside and mounted from the inside, like different mounted speakers.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah,
they sound quite different.
Okay.
This is another one I quite like. So this is a 2x12. And actually one I really like is it's one called Vintage PA. So this is, I believe, they found an old vintage PA system somewhere that had old Celestion speakers in it.
Sure.
And they modeled it, and it's quite an interesting sound. So this actually has some. Hang on, if I turn the reverb off here,
Yep.
it has some ambience,
Yeah.
like a room ambience.
Cool.
Because the cool thing with the 2-knot stuff is you can put the speakers into different environments. So this is sitting in like what looks like a sort of a big arena, concert hall with the mic back a bit, so it's not right on it. So you get a bit more of a room sound. Because I mean, you can. Hang on. Let's turn the reverb off here completely.
Okay.
Because what you can do is, so you can put these, and I mean, you can't see it because it's on a computer screen, but what we can do is we can put this in a cathedral. So the reverb you hear now is from the 2-notes plugin. And the further away you go with the mic, I love it how you can do that. You know, you can just in the plugin, or no, it's not a plugin. I mean, this is now connected to that. So I've got a USB cable running along here.
Yeah.
You can create reverb. You can do all this stuff. I think it's such a super versatile thing to have, and especially in a studio. I think it's killer.
Yeah.
I really like it.
To get unique sounds, it just take all day to find otherwise.
This is another one of my favorites, the Rev 4x12 open back cab. It's quite different EQ-wise. And I compared it with the closed back, and I preferred the open back.
Oh yeah?
And this has got a 1-to-1 style ribbon mic on it. And this is fully closed mic, so this is in a studio situation, but you can again get a bit more ambience. Or you can go into Studio B. You know, anyway, so you can do tons of stuff, but I really like it. I think but my favorite is the one I seem to use the most is that Radcat. It just works really well, I think, with that amp. I just like that sound. But yeah, so that's that.
Very cool.
Yeah. So hopefully very soon you'll see one of the Marshall Studio Series things there.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to actually shooting the Plexi style one out with this. Actually, what I really want to do as well, which way? This way. There's it's hard to point at stuff back here. There's that Mostronics preamp. We did a video of that, that's based on an 800, JCM 800 kind of preamp. So I want to do a video with that going into the power amp of that, which sounds really good actually.
Yeah, you've tried it.
Sorry?
You've tried it.
Yeah, it sounds great. So that using it, because it's a valve preamp, going into the power amp of this versus the actual 800. See what the difference is. Whether I need to buy a JCM 800 Studio Series or if this thing will do, because that sounds really cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Built well too.
And there's 3 more Mostronics pedals coming up this weekend.
More?
Yeah, he made some new ones.
Because we did the tremolo and compressor.
That went live this morning.
Oh, was that this morning?
That was this morning,
cool.
yeah. Has anyone watched it?
I really liked that combo.
Yeah, it was really, really good. It was great sounding. His stuff is killer. I mean, and again, we're not getting paid. You know, he's not paying us to say. Deliverance, pretty cool ending. I think it's when it goes into that helicopter sound when I strum behind the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, So yeah, there's more Mostronics stuff coming. Andrew from Mostronics is coming up.
Yes.
In April as well. So he'll be. I already said to him, you should definitely come on a podcast, and if you game on a video, because it's if you're not used to it, it's kind of a little bit intimidating to sit there and have a video camera in front of you and then kind of talk into the camera.
Yeah.
But at least a podcast will have him.
Yeah.
We'll have him come on a podcast.
That'd be fun. Chat about electronics and guitar sounds and
That we don't know anything about.
Yeah.
So he said it's coming up this Saturday. I wonder because my friend Damien is coming up this Saturday.
oh, this Saturday's coming up.
That's this Saturday, and they know each other, and he said he's got the 3 pedals. I'm not sure if he meant he's got the 3 pedals as in he's bringing the 3 pedals up,
Oh,
or
really?
he's gonna, because he said I'm sending the pedals up this Saturday,
Oh, cool.
the 3 new pedals, and then I said, oh, and I'm catching up with Damien on Saturday,
Yeah, cool.
and he said, yeah, he's got my 3 new pedals.
All right.
So whether he meant that he's got them and he's bringing them up, I don't know, but
Find
anyway.
out. Find out.
We'll
Saturday.
find out.
Cool.
So does anyone else want to know anything else? Anything else happening? Any questions? Anything else? Anything else that we anything new that we want to talk about? Well, there's a few things sort of in the making. Like I said, hopefully there'll be some work that we're doing with Boss shortly.
That will be fun.
I'm actually waiting. I think it's Ed from Boss here in Australia. He said he's sending me emailing me through, like we had to, like some forms and stuff we had to fill out.
Sure.
But he hasn't emailed them through yet.
Okay.
Hopefully now, soon, the Marshall stuff will arrive. I'm still waiting for the guys from Rev. How about the Jazzmaster build? That's a good question. Just quickly want to say the Rev. I contacted Rev Amps, and there may be hopefully something happening with Rev. Not 100% sure yet. It's a bit far away. They're in Canada. We're here. They don't actually have Australian distribution for the amps. They have Australian distribution for the pedals, which is Peerless Music, they're awesome guys. Go and see Peg and Steve at Peerless Music, or go to their website anyway.
Melbourne.
In Melbourne. Okay, Jazzmaster build. So, we have all the pieces. The only thing we're waiting on is the neck. Now, I emailed Angus from Mako Guitars, or I messaged him last year, December or something, just asking if there's any news, because we're just waiting on that. And he said it was going to be done like end of November. Anyway, I think he had some issues. There's some things happened. Life got in the way. These things happen. Yep. But he just yesterday or day before yesterday sent me a message.
Cool.
And sent me some more pictures, because I think all he had to do was do the finishing paint job. Because I think it was the frets and inlays are in.
Cool. Okay.
And I think he's just doing the last. Really just the last little bits of it.
Fun.
So hopefully that should be coming soon. And because all the other bits are done, I've emailed actually all the people that supplied stuff, just saying sorry it's taking long, but and everyone was really cool with it. But hopefully that's happening soon. So all the other parts with Mark Shipton, who's like a local guitar repair guy, luthier guy, who's going to help me put it all together.
You should film it or time lapse.
Well, I think he's done.
Oh, has he done
The body is done. It's just the neck needs to go on.
Too late.
But the neck sometimes needs to be fitted in one way or another. But hopefully that'll happen soon.
Cool.
And then yeah, because I'm really looking forward to it. Like a blue version of this, but with a White Range humbucker by Martin A. Smith pickups, which I'm very much looking forward to hearing him, because since because he's based in WA, and there's a YouTuber in WA, Leon Todd, I think.
Oh yeah.
Who does a bit of stuff with Anarchy Audio as well, and with Martin A. Smith pickups, and he raves about Martin A. Smith pickups,
Cool.
And I'm really looking forward to it. And apparently his wide range pickups are really, really good, and they really sound like vintage wide range pickups.
Yep. Right. Cool.
And I'm his guinea pig for Jazzmaster pickups. I don't know if he's made others since, but that was the first Jazzmaster pickup, neck pickup he made.
Fun.
And he just said, "Let me know what you think." So hopefully, sooner or later, we will know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things. You know, life can get in the way.
I think
Sadly.
guitar-wise, I need some more humbuckers in my world.
Well,
'Cause- yeah.
speaking of humbuckers, that Fender Meteora, the new one with the humbuckers
yeah.
that's coming out, that looks so good. That's something I think I need to
That's up your world. Up your alley? Up your world.
up my world alley.
Either way sounds
Alley world?
sounds uncomfortable.
Oh, I think we've got a stream is not looking well.
Oh no.
Oh, hang on, we're back. I think we may have dropped out there for a second. We may have had a bad stream going for a second. That's the good things about having the NBN in Australia and having a government who rolls out an already outaged internet, rolls out an outdated,
That's the way,
aged
yeah. That works.
internet system. But anyway, that's a different story. So
Cool.
it cuts in and out sometimes. Yeah. Sadly, I just noticed that it was red before. So hopefully it's. But yeah, so hopefully the Jazzmaster build. I don't know when it cut out, but hopefully the Jazzmaster build will be done shortly. Like I said, we've got all this stuff coming soon, hopefully, and
We're going to chat to our friend Brett, who's going to chat about playing guitar with live dance music.
this is focus. This was in like November. That's what the neck looked like.
It's a nice piece of timber.
So that's the neck we're getting.
Cool.
And this is a little video of him. If you go to Mako Guitars, I mean, you can probably see it. Focus. That's him putting in the inlays.
Whack.
So yeah, you see it up the top. Mako Guitars. Go and check him out. I think he said there's a bunch of new models that because I think he's got more time now to get back into it.
Sure.
Like I said, I think there were some. Oh, hang on! I just got an email. Received a shipment of a new studio range yesterday. This is from Nick at Electric Factory. Just need a contact phone number from you, and we'll have the.
Sweet.
Cool. So should be coming soon. So you just need my contact phone number, and we're running. Excellent.
Awesome.
So that's coming.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Yeah, whatever.
I said rock and roll. Anyway.
Rock and roll. But yeah, so check out Mako Guitars. He's got a bunch of new models coming out.
Cool looking stuff.
He had one called the Jackal, which is kind of like a little bit of an offsetty kind of Telecaster thingy kind of thing. Hollow body, semi-hollow. Looks fantastic. Actually does. Why not showing pictures? Why not show some more
Might
pictures?
have to check out his have you heard of, is it Mario Guitars in Nashville?
Is he related to Luigi?
Yeah. They drive around little go-karts.
And shoot
Banana
bananas and turtles at each other.
Yeah, that's it.
That old chestnut. Hang on, let's quickly check the Mako Guitars. This thing, it just looks lovely, this thing's. Randy, hey Randy, how you doing? Yeah, we are well. Hope you're well too. This thing, it just looks killer, this guitar. Focus.
Excuse me.
Gesundheit. Absolutely. James, are you guys curious to try the new Marshall studio amps? Yes, well, I was just saying. So I just got an email from the Australian Marshall distributor. They just arrived, and in Australia, we're always a little bit behind the rest of the world. Things always take a little longer to get here. Paolo, hello from Brazil. Oh, hello. Obrigado. Is that? I think that's what you say.
That's what you said.
Well, my mum partially grew up in Brazil. I think we talked about this once before.
So,
my mum grew up in Sao Paulo in the post-war days.
Roasted maple necks.
Oh, cool. That looks... Oh, and I like the Jazzmaster bridge. I'm in Trem.
Yeah. Oh, and the neck pickup too.
Yeah. So Studio Series, next week, hopefully early next week, we should be getting it. No, that's okay. That's cool.
How cool's that?
Check out Nova Guitars. Yeah, Nova Guitars is cool. That's the guy who used to make...
It's Mario from Nashville. So, yeah.
Mario. No, that's he used to make Fano guitars, didn't he? Is that the guy who used to make Fano guitars, now makes Nova guitars? Do you have one, Dewey? Are you using them? Have you ever played any of the new Zoom Multi-Effects like a G1X on? No, but I watched Henning's video on it, and he raves about it, and I love it. I'm a big fan. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a whole bunch of the old Zoom stuff here. So there's a 505, a 507, which is the reverb, a 508, which is the delay, and a 510, which is the distortion one. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I remember we chatted to Paolo in another one.
Oh, we talked in another live stream. Obrigado, yes.
I think that's when we talked about it. Yeah.
Last time, yeah. So there you go.
It's a while ago now.
Yeah, well, it's been a while since we've done a live stream. Yeah. So, but I mean, while people are here, I mean, I've got time. Let's keep going. I don't have anything to do till about 3 this afternoon when I teach guitar. So, kids are at school, wife's away.
Oh, really?
Well, shopping, I think.
Will play.
Yeah. Nova. I'd love to check out Nova Guitars. There's so many guitar makers that I'd like to check out, but again, the problem is with a lot of them, we're in Australia.
They're not in Queensland,
and they don't want to send stuff here.
Yeah.
And it's totally understandable. I mean, the cost to send something in, especially nowadays, if there's rosewood on it, and you have to have the whole, documentation on where you got it from and all that stuff. It's a lot of work, but well, hopefully we'll see what Angus from Mako Guitars. Maybe he'll send us some stuff to do videos of. Would love to. I mean, there's heaps of guitars I'd like to try out. I still really, really want to try the St. Vincent, one of the St. Vincents.
Yeah, sure.
The music band.
I don't know.
I love the look of that guitar.
Their necks always never felt right to me.
Well, that's it. The only ones I played were the I've played a Steve Morse, and I've played a Van Halen when he used to do back in the day, the Axis.
EVH King.
And I wasn't a huge fan of the necks.
Yeah.
But then
there's a thing going on.
Lots of people rave about the necks.
Yeah, you want more like that kind of...
I like the meaty thing. I mean, that's quite a fat neck on this thing, so...
Yeah, it's slightly more vintage, like the actual shape of it.
The Aussie tax, yeah, good old...
Yeah. It's pronounced GST, but...
It's... oh, no, import duties and all that crap.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, Dennis Fano, that's the one. I mean, I'd love to try some more of that stuff. I think I might, just for shits and giggles, I might buy one of those Zoom G1X ons.
Oh, yeah?
Because it's cheap as chips. They're like the new version of these. And I really... People give me crap. But I mean, it's one of our most viewed videos on the channel, is when we just did a run-through of the 505.
We're still getting comments on it.
Still get lots of comments on it. And so many people go, oh, that was my first pedal too. And because, I mean, for both of us, it was our first sort of multi-effects thing.
Yeah.
Henning's video is great. I thought that Zoom put out the new version of the multi-effect at NAMM, so I'm curious to try it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people whinge about Zoom, but I mean, we're using because for whatever reason, I've got this PreSonus thing here, but the software that we're using to stream live onto the internet doesn't like this. So I'm using my Zoom H6, which is just this little, I don't know, hopefully this isn't going to make noises and crap. Can you see it? It's there.
Yeah, it's a voice
recorder thing, which we use usually to record our podcasts.
Yeah.
But we actually use that now as an interface to the computer. And there's a microphone here, an AKG mic that we're using, that's just going straight into that. And then I'm actually using the headphone out of the PreSonus for the guitar. So that goes into a separate channel.
Works.
I like Zoom. And your old Zoom rack is cool.
Yeah.
And these things are cool. I'm a fan of Zoom. I think Zoom it's one of those, because it's cheap, relatively cheap.
Yeah.
People kind of underrate it, but
Or
I think
write
it's
it off.
or write it off. But
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Great value for money, and yeah, I'm curious to see what direction Kramer takes the next few years. Oh yeah, well they're sort of coming back. They're Kramer
Oh yeah.
because it's Gibson.
Ah, they're buying.
Yeah. And, I mean, they were quite big back in the days, Kramer.
Yeah, in 1987.
With the cool, I like the headstock, the split headstock.
Well, didn't they do like that kind of Gibson Fender type curvy one too?
Probably, but the one I remember and like the best is like, it's kind of like a Gibson one, but it's sort of split in the middle. It's like these two pointy bits. It would be a huge. No, it would be interesting to know what happens with them, because it'd be just something cool, something different. And I mean, generally the way Gibson is going would be quite interesting to see what they're doing.
Yeah, they could have had like a little bit of a lull, but now they seem to be.
But I mean, I think the
new
lull, a
new
lot of,
management and new like CEOs and stuff.
but I mean, a lot of people were going on about, oh, Gibson's going to go under. But I think the main problem with Gibson was the fact that they acquired all this other stuff that had nothing to do with guitars.
Sure.
That dragged them down. The guitars are still selling. Even, I mean, I hope, one thing I really, really hope is that Gibson is going to improve their quality control. Because the problem with Gibson is, and has always been, I find, as far as since I've been playing guitar, you have three of, and I mean, I used to work in a music shop, and it is like that. You have 3 or 4 of exactly the same guitar coming, exactly the same models, same everything, and 3 of them will play like absolute crap, and you can't set them up, and buzz, and the frets are crap, and one will be awesome, but they all cost $5,000.
Yeah.
And you go, well, I wouldn't spend $5,000 on the crap ones, but that's one of the I found one of the problems. And when I first started working at the music shop, so this is early 2000s, right? Let's say late 90s, early 2000s. Fender was exactly the same. And then in recent years, Fender really upped their game. And Fender, I think, nowadays, you go into a music shop, you pick up a Fender off the wall, they all are good. I mean, we used to get, I remember, I think it was a 60th anniversary Strat.
Yeah.
Possibly the 60th?
Was that with did the silver one?
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
Well, the silver one was the Mexican one, and it had a little diamond in the back of it. And we got a US one and we got a Mexican one. And all of us in the shop liked the Mexican one better, because the US one was just, you couldn't set it up.
Yeah.
But I think it was after that, not long after that, they really lifted the game, and all of a sudden everything was good. And the Squier stuff is ridiculously good. I mean, you can sort of see the bottom of it.
Vintage Bobby, what it's called.
Oh, which way do I go? This way. You can see the bottom of it. Jay Mascis. I mean, I bought that for next to nothing, and that's one of the best Jazzmasters I've ever owned.
Early on, we did a shootout with, was it a Vintage Vibe, a Mexican, and a US Strats or something?
Or the blindfold thing we did for Music at Noosa. There's a video on that channel. You can watch it.
And we all liked
the Vintage Vibe Sky.
And the American one was probably almost equal.
Yeah.
It was pretty much equal, but they're like 3 times, 4 times more. And then I remember Tim didn't like the video because he's like, oh, we can't sell the more expensive.
Did he? I don't know. No, I don't remember what it was.
Well, anyway, they didn't like them. If you don't like them,
it's just the way it is. But
it's not your fault. It's like the product.
Yeah.
That Fenders.
But they have, I think since then they have lifted the game a little bit.
Thanks.
But the Vintage Vibe stuff is killer. The Squier stuff is killer. Quality control has been quite shady, yeah, it has. And I hope they're going to lift that, because when you play a nice Gibson, they're lovely guitars. And there's one right now at Music at Noosa. There's 2 that I really like.
Oh, excuse me.
There's an old 60s 335, which is about $9,000, which is lovely.
Yeah.
But there's a maybe 2005, 2006, something like that, 335 with a really fat neck, with, it's sort of that, it's not a tobacco burst, it's a honey burst, I think they call it. Lovely looking guitar.
Orangey?
Not the really orangey one, the sort of light brown honey kind of honey burst maybe.
Sure, okay.
I'll see if I can find a picture. Fat neck, man, that's lovely. But it's secondhand, about $4,500. You're right about Gibson. I bought my LP Studio about 25 years ago. It was the cheapest Les Paul in the store, but it played and sounded the best. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's the thing. And I've played so many, sadly, again, through the music shop I worked in, like custom shoppy kind of really expensive Les Pauls. And you play them and you go,
why?
Why would you spend that money on it? It's really not good. Anyway, that's just me. But I'll have a quick look if I can find a picture of it, because it's for sale at Music at Noosa right now. It's absolutely lovely guitar. That's one of those moments when
should I find some money?
It's a guitar. You know, you go, this is a Gibson, and this is the reason why it's a Gibson that everyone wants. Is there a picture of it? Oh, here you can sort of see it. Yeah, so these are the two. So that's the vintage one, and that's that one. So the one on the whatever left, the one on the side I'm sitting on. So the thumb side. So that's the one I was just talking about. The 2000 maybe 5. The other one is a 60s 66 maybe, which is absolutely awesome. Really, really lovely guitar. But yeah, that's a beautiful guitar. Yeah, if I had the money, or if anyone out there wants to fund me by giving me about 9,000 Australian dollars, so it's only about 400 US at the moment. No, it's not. But yeah, lovely guitars, both of them. And you play that and you go, this is why people like Gibsons. But then sadly, you play 10 others and you go, well,
this is why people buy Fenders.
This is why people buy Fenders. I mean, it's a different thing, but yeah, it sounded great. It feels great. It has a lovely fat neck on it, which is, I love it. It's just killer. Nice. So hopefully, I'm hoping with the new CEO or manager or whatever he is, there's a video with him at NAMM where he talks. And he seems like a sort of trendy dude.
Sweet.
So maybe he's going to trendify Gibson and bring it back. Because it'd be nice to see them sort of come back and because their old stuff is killer. You probably can't see it. Which one is it? Oh, you can see the bottom of it. There. I've got this this is a 64 Melody Maker, which, let's get it down. I think it's in the video that's coming out in 2 days.
Should we have a crack?
Yeah, have a crack. It's such a lovely neck as well. It's just an awesome guitar.
I do like this little thing.
It's a single pickup guitar, but it sounds good. And the neck is great on it. And it's probably out of tune. But yeah, it's such a good guitar, and it's such a shame that they don't make guitar. And I mean, this was a student guitar, and it was absolutely awesome.
Probably all that.
It's probably last time I used it was for that DoD video, which I think I shot last year, end of last year, which is coming out day after tomorrow. But yeah, I really hope Gibson goes the right way and goes kind of the way Fender did, where they do stuff that's actually, where you kind of go, you know, you don't have to search forever to find the right one. Because I mean, I remember there was a story on, what was his name, Billy Thorpe? Billy Thorpe? Sort of, you know, I think he was quite well known worldwide, but probably more well known in Australia. And he had an old Les Paul, and I think he wanted to retire it because it was like a 50s, 58, let's say. Yeah, it's tiny, but it's a killer guitar. He went to Gibson to get one to replace it for touring. And he said he had to go through like 20, 30 of them before he found one that he actually liked. Because all the others he just went...
What?
And, you know, this is going to Gibson, to the custom shop. I think what we really need, though, is a Gibson shower curtain. Yeah, of course. Everyone needs a Gibson shower curtain. And BB King's signature MP3, Bluetooth MP3 player.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone needs that, you know.
Lucille.
They did do that, didn't they? They had like a... Because they actually look kind of cool. They have... we always see it when we go to Costco. They have them there. It looks like an old Marshall amp.
Yep.
But it's a Bluetooth speaker. But they do have a Lucille BB King signature version of it.
Really?
Yeah. And you go, well, that's exactly what, you know, that's what... I'm sure that's what BB King used all the time.
There's your problem.
But that's why Gibson went under, because they did all this kind of crap that, you know...
They did studio monitors too.
Well, they bought all these... They went through this phase where they bought all these brands. They bought... Didn't they buy... some software company, and then just... Wasn't it Sonar or something like that? They bought some software company, and then they just kind of closed it, because they went, well, we don't know what to do with it.
That was worth it.
I have a $200 Squire Strat that I play all the time, and I'm still shocked by how good it is. I doubt I could get the value from Gibson or even Epiphone. Well, see, the thing is, that's the other thing I find. Squire has gotten so good and affordable. Epiphone, I'm still struggling to find many Epiphone guitars I like.
Yeah, like the one I've got's great, but it was from '96.
Well, and it was Korean made.
Korean, yeah. So
the Sheraton, that was a killer guitar.
But again, not current.
Not really. No, I don't think they are current. Yeah, I don't know. Gibson just went through this phase where it's just a shame to you know, to see what's going on with them, because it's such a heritage kind of brand.
Yeah.
Squires are good for modding too. Yeah. Well, so my well, let's move on with guitars, hey. So here we've got this one.
Yeah.
This one is a heavily modded, even though I absolutely loved it the way it was originally.
Yeah.
But it's one of the guitars I kind of went, this is going to be my, just have a play around with and see what I like and don't like.
It's a good neck, hey?
It's a fantastic neck on that. So this is the Jamascus Squire. Now, I've got, again, you can only see the bottom of it. There's a, up here, there's a Elvis Costello Jazzmaster. And that has a Mastery Bridge and Mastery Trem on it. So this Fender Trem is the one that used to be on that Elvis Costello. And this has a stay trem collet in it, so the trem stays. Because that was one of the things that just always annoyed me.
It just goes away somewhere.
It's just, you play and all of a sudden it's on the ground because it sits in there. And I had a Mastery Bridge on it, but that Mastery Bridge is now going onto the Jazzmaster build that we were just talking about it before. So this has got the stay trem bridge on it, which is absolutely killer. And I think I mentioned it before in another video. I got it out. I got it from out of the mail. I got it out of the box. Got it out of a little container. Put it in there. Put the strings on it. Perfectly intonated. Perfectly everything. Nothing had to be done.
Nice.
That was one of the best things ever, and it's really good. So this has got proper Fender trem, stay trem collet, stay trem bridge, and these are Mick Brearley pickups. So he's a pickup maker based in Adelaide here in Australia. And it's a Jazzmaster, one of his, what he calls vintage Jazzmaster neck pickups. And the bridge is a P90 in disguise, but also vintage style P90. Because the pickups it comes with are really hot P90s.
Right.
And that's one thing I didn't quite like about it, but I put the new pickups in it and they're killer. Yep, plan on replacing the pickups, but other than that, it's good. It's good as is. Yes. Well, that's the thing. I mean, and I mean, replacing pickups a lot of times is
like personal preference.
It's personal preference sort of thing as well. I tend to like darker sounding pickups, and it's actually something I told Mick. So these pickups actually were originally in. Well, let's go through more, hey? So this is the Elvis Costello. So
I do really like that neck, eh?
the neck on this is fantastic, yeah.
Even the quality of the grain in the timbers.
Yeah, yeah. And it's sort of that kind of, it's a bit gloss, but it's not sticky. It's such a great neck.
Slightly aged.
Slightly aged. It's awesome. I mean, if you compare it to this, and this, I mean, this is a high-end US Fender. The neck on this is so much better. So this is quite a different sounding guitar. So it's got mastery trem and mastery bridge. I think the mastery trem is, so in all honesty, the Fender trem with the stage trem is good.
Bit of a bow in it.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah, I haven't played it before. The stage trem, call it, with the Fender trem is good, but the mastery trem is absolutely fantastic. It's expensive, but it's absolutely fantastic. And these are Nick Brearley vintage, they're custom-made pickups for me, actually. Because I really like this vintage, but I wanted even darker and even less output. So he made me slightly lower output, slightly darker pickups. So they're just both standard Jazzmaster, no E19 disguise.
I have to say it.
You like this better?
I like this neck.
You like the neck?
Yeah.
So this is a 7¼ inch radius. That's 9-inch radius.
Yeah, really.
So that's a rounder old school radius, which I don't like as much.
I think I like the back of the neck profile better.
Oh really? This is fatter. Which I like more about this. One of my absolute favourite necks. I think it's awesome. Hang on. Do you like the forward trem or the JM over the standard placement? Sorry, do you like the forward trem on the JM over the standard placement? The forward trem? What does that mean?
Jazzmaster over this. Sure.
I generally play pretty high gain stuff, so I like hotter pickups. Yeah. Oh, Metalhead, that's cool. That's all good.
Fair enough.
I think there's also a misconception nowadays that really hot pickups are needed for high gain rock metal. A lot of amps so much gain out of. True. Oh, the trem's. Oh, you mean this? Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, I personally prefer the original way, where the trem's further away, because I do like playing behind the bridge. I do like making noise with that, and when you use it, if you use the standard bridge that comes on Jazzmasters, this is better because you have more downforce. They won't pop out as much. If you use the stage trem or mastery bridge, they won't pop out. You can play quite hard and they won't pop out. So I much prefer that where the trem is further away,
Sure.
because you get different notes out of it. But these are really high notes. I like that has more of a jangle to it, and also it's a bit I quite like the.
Is it more resonant?
It's more resonant. You can hear that sound more while you're playing, and I like that. I like that's one of the things I love about the Jazzmaster, is the noisiness about it.
Okay, for me.
Yeah.
This guitar with those pickups.
Oh really? Okay. So those pickups,
Antiquities.
that's Duncan Antiquity
okay.
ones. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. See,
I'll put my order in this afternoon.
I absolutely. The thing is, this was, and I've mentioned this before, but this was such an absolute fluke, because this is a parts guitar, right? So I mean, it was a fluke that I got the body. This is a one-piece Swamp Ash body, that was has a nitro finish, hand relic by the guys at Paler Guitar, and it was either something wasn't right with it, or quite what the customer wanted, but they did some experiments, and it was just a body they didn't need, and they sold it stupidly cheap on eBay, and I bought it, and it was, yay. And then I actually measured the neck dimensions on this guitar, because I had a neck made by US Custom Guitars, but I gave them the measurements of the Jay Mascis neck, because I really liked it. And it's a completely different neck, but I absolutely love this neck. It's different feel, but it's just, I don't know. There's something about this guitar.
Combination there.
The combination. Yeah. This guitar just came out so well, and I absolutely love this thing. So this is my absolutely favorite guitar at the moment. I think the stream is going a bit crappy at the moment again. Definitely with amps like Plexis, JCM100, hot pickups are awesome. Yeah, well, I mean, you get different sounds out of it, and different tones. Like a lot of especially stuff like the new like rev amps and all that sort of stuff with ridiculous amounts of gain, you can play anything through it and you get that super high gain sound. But it's just personal preference. And I guess it depends on what you play. I personally, again, just because I'm used to it or not, but I have a real thing for Jazzmaster pickups. I used to always play humbuckers. I never got on with single coils, but that's when I played Strats or Tellies. I still don't really get on with Strats and Tellies. And then I played a Jazzmaster, and then I went, that's the sound. Because it's sort of a hotter single coil and a fatter single coil. But it's not quite a P90, and it's not quite a Strat pickup. It's sort of in between those.
Oh, man, how tall are you?
Relatively.
All the way.
Can you reach it?
Yes, I can.
Yes, cool. Are you grabbing a Telly? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So
now that
do you like this one?
I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it. I love the look of it. I love the sound of it, but I'm not a huge fan of playing it.
Is that the neck or something? Or?
Yeah, and I'm not a maple fretboard guy.
Okay.
But these are Porter pickups, and they sound fantastic.
Yeah, for me this is kind of home.
Well, you play Tallys, yeah. So this is an old Fernandez, and you can see it in some videos too, with an aftermarket Bixby. Again, it's an aged Bixby bought from the guys at Paler Guitars, stupidly cheap on eBay. And I put Porter pickups in it because, again, at the time, the guys at Paler pickups used Porter pickups.
Yeah.
Paler Guitars used Porter pickups. And at the time, Brett Kingman had I think called it the Apple Tree or something like that. It was a red, aged Telly. And he was raving about the Porter pickups in it. So I bought Porter pickups, and they do sound very nice.
I like the neck.
It is a good sounding guitar, and I mean, I know why people like Tellys.
I'm not sure if I like the bridge, but the neck's really good.
It just has a certain sound to it. And again, Mastery Bridge, because I had some issues when I did the Bixby and the string through and string spacing and all that stuff. But Mastery Bridge, and yeah, it's a four-way switch too. Actually,
oh, there you go.
I think one's like it runs in one series, one parallel. I think that's the bridge. That's both kind of like a humbucker. That's both traditional, and that's the neck.
I like that one.
The humbuckery kind of one. Oh crap, I missed another stuff. I find super pickups like 16, 18K and crazy high gain amp get mushy with something like a PF. I play through an orange for the most part. Okay, yeah. Just, I mean, I haven't got a huge amount of knowledge with super hot pickups. I just find whenever I plug really hot pickups in, they're a bit too harsh. Like, or maybe it's just the ones I've played, but the ones I've played are very bitey and very top endy, and I like them more. I'm not a top end guy. I'm not into too much treble. But I mean, it's personal preference. There's some. I mean, Prince played active EMGs in all his guitars. I mean, and he sounded awesome. And he played active EMGs, and he had a pedal board made up of Boss and Line 6. Yet he sounded awesome because he was Prince. You know? It all depends. It depends on the player. It depends on the situation. It depends on a lot of things. Lower. I find. The difference I find lower output. If you play lower output, what I kind of like about lower output is you have to hear anything. You have to crank the amp more, and you crank the amp more, you get more of a. I mean, now it's maybe different again because I use a torpedo mostly. It's a different story now. But when I used to play live more, I think, especially because I mean, live back in the days, I used to use for many years. I used to use the Hot Rod DeVille 4x10, and that was back in the days with you, Dewey, back in the 90s. And I always found I always went, even with humbuckers, I went towards the lower output humbuckers.
Yeah.
Because you could turn the amp up more, and then it sounded, you get the tubes working more. Whereas the hotter pickups, I had to turn it down more, and then you use less of the tubes, and it was more kind of meh sound. Because you know, back in the days as well, and I mean, now it's more than ever. You rock up at a gig and there's people doing sound. As soon as you turn up, they just go, whoa, 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 whoa.
Let me stop you there.
Turn down a bit there, mate. Which is why one of the reasons, again, live, I absolutely loved using the 2 notes thing. And now I've got it's down there, my pedal board. I've got the HX Stomp, which I used at 1 gig, and I quite liked it.
Yeah, cool. I got up with a band at a party as a musician's birthday. This big stage set up, heaps of players. Got
Brett, who we talked about, just who might be coming on the podcasting.
Yeah. And he had his guitar rig set up, and I just jumped up on that, and it was, you'll love this.
Yeah.
It was a maple neck Strat through an ME80 into a Hot Rod Deluxe.
Oh, okay. Sounded good.
Did. But the amp was a loud, like jam, was just hitting. So the amp was like on 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I just put onto I think it's like the blues overdrive setting on the thing, a little bit of delay. Scream. But the amp was working hard.
Well, that's it. You gotta have. Well, the good thing, especially when you use when you have pedals, when you're not just going directly in, you can actually, or if you use drives and stuff, you can crank the amp more and turn the pedal down.
Yeah. So
as well.
Yeah, it's like actually like single coil maple neck Strat. I actually got feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, that's it. You need to. The amp needs to work.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's sadly just a what? Just a 2RT at the moment. Oh, Andy. The orange. Well, orange. I kind of have an urge to get some orange.
I know what you mean. Get some orange.
Get some orange into me. Now, which one's the one that I was thinking of? There's the 2-channel one that I watched a few videos and I loved the way it sounded. It's sort of like a vintagey voiced one. Is it AD30? Is there an AD30?
There's the rocker and the AD, and then there's the little tiny one.
And the AD30 comes in they make them as a single channel and they make them as a dual channel. Is that right? Are there people out there that know? But I never played a Jazzmaster, but I've always liked the look. Always get them mixed up with the Jaguar.
Yeah. So the one thing that they both have going for them is ergonomics. They're just so comfy.
Super comfy. Okay.
There's no hard edges like Telly.
Jaguar, Jazzmaster. The Jaguar is the one that has the chromey bits on it.
The little single.
And the little single coils. And it's a short scale too. So it's, I don't know if you can really see that. They're a little bit shorter. Actually, the Jazzmaster looks shorter. But it's shorter scale, longer scale, and they're not P90s like a lot of people say. They are single coil pickups that are wound horizontally as opposed to vertically.
Oh, really?
Well, normal Strat pickups, when you look at them, they are skinny, but then you take them out and they're quite, they wound down. With this, it's the same, but it's kind of like sideways.
Right.
So it's instead of it being a long magnet, it's a skinny magnet but fat. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next guitar. So while we're talking Jaguars.
I'll take this one.
Well, sure. Well, they both have got switchy bits, and a lot of people don't understand the switchy bit, but it's not that difficult. So on the Jazzmaster as well, the top bit, right? So this is a and this is probably completely out of tune. That's a rhythm circuit switch, right? So let me start with this while he tunes up. Yeah. So on Jazzmasters, you've got 3-way toggle switch, right? So bridge, both, neck. But then even if you're on a bridge, let's say, and you flick that up, it goes to the neck. So it doesn't matter where you are here, that's gone. It goes to the neck pickup, and then you have a volume and a tone control. How would you compare Jaguar pickups to Jazzmaster pickups? Quite different. Jaguar ones are quite a lot janglier, whereas Jazzmaster pickups are fatter. Okay, let's just hang on. Let's quickly go. So that's that bit, which is the same on the Jaguar. But then on the Jaguar,
Just talking amongst yourselves.
you have the 3 switches down the bottom. We'll get to it in a second. But basically, one is for one pickup. The other one is for both for the other pickup. So you can turn one pickup on, both pickups on. And then the third switch is what's called a strangle switch. So it's actually the opposite to this. So this is a rhythm circuit. So it is kind of like you have your volume, your tone rolled back a little bit. So here, if you can see it, play now. No pickup. Bridge pickup. Neck pickup.
Nothing.
Isn't it? It should be. Oh. No, that's a rhythm circuit. Ah. Here we go. Neck pickup. Bridge pickup. And then the strangle switch, which is the... So this is like a low pass filter. So this is kind of like, it makes it darker.
A tone roll off.
Tone roll off. Whereas this is the opposite. So this is a high pass filter. So it makes it tinier. And I mean, this is an old guitar. This is a... they do stay in tune if you set them up right and play them a lot.
Oh yeah.
But
Probably use it for a while. Eh?
this is, I haven't used it for ages, and this is a 1963. So it's an actual old guitar. But yeah, so the Jaguar pickups are a lot tinier and janglier, which is, I guess, why so many people like using them for like surfy stuff and that sort of music.
Indie tunes.
The Jazzmaster is quite a fat sound, quite a fat round sound. Thanks for the lesson. I actually didn't know any of that. It's really cool. Didn't know you had so much control of the sound. Yeah. So I think that switch doesn't work properly. So that should be both pickups, but it's... Aaron will fix it.
Yes.
Hi, Aaron. Yeah, it's an old guitar, and all the wiring is original.
Yeah.
I changed it's again mastery bridge, mastery trem. I still have the original bridge and trem, and even a mute. It had a mute on it as well. And the machine heads were changed, and it was refinished, but it was refinished a while ago. But it's a lovely guitar, great sounding guitar. But yeah, I personally prefer Jazzmasters. Looks Johnny Marr approved. Yeah, that's a guitar I'd love to try. The Johnny Marr Jazzmaster Jaguar. That's a I'd very much like to try that. But yeah, it's a different sort of sounding guitar. It's tinier, it's brighter, it's
They're kind of like Britpop kind of thing.
yeah. Whereas the Jazzmaster sounds like, to me, it sounds kind of, it sounds like a Strat,
Sure.
but nicer. Fatter, warmer, nicer. It's not as puny. I don't get along with Strat, so. But yeah, that's that. And then, yeah, so you have a volume and a tone. Whether they all work properly, I don't know. But the thing is, even with everything on full, it's already rolled off a bit. And it goes to the neck pick. So this is the, doesn't matter what setting you're here, it goes to the neck pickup. Yeah, the neck pickup. See, so it's a bit darker.
Yeah. Sounds nice.
The neck sounds great on that thing. They're really good sounding pickups, actually. Yeah, so that's that. So
There you go. Listen.
lesson learned for everyone. It's not that difficult. It's a lot of people have difficulties with it. And I also really think if you set them up right, if you watch some of our videos, I do sometimes some quite silly stuff with the trem bar and playing behind a bridge, and they stay in tune. It stays in tune really well. It's
Yeah.
if you set them up well, and I think they do need heavier strings. So mine have all got 12 gauge strings on them, but they don't feel heavy, do they?
No.
If you set it up right, it doesn't feel super heavy. And I do think because there's so little downforce, you do need slightly heavier strings. And I think they were intended to have heavier strings on it originally.
Sure.
Like they were meant to have heavier
Jazz.
strings on it. Yeah, which no one used them for jazz, but yeah. So that's the little lesson. So what we've talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about Jazzmasters. We talked about Jaguars. We talked about pickups. We talked about different amps. Those two amps.
Yeah.
We talked about
Many things, reverbs.
reverbs. Oh yeah. So we might do like some sort of a reverb
Yeah.
kind of shootout.
I'm off
Whether
that.
we do it like we did the Klon thing.
Why don't we just do a series rather than a shootout?
Yeah, true.
Because that's more
So we might.
less headachy.
Yeah. So do you play 12s on everything? Yes. So all the guitars have 12s on it. I actually think that Ibanez behind you has 11s.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, actually it's bizarre. Actually, I think these might be 11s too. Because for whatever reason, even though it's the opposite, but it's a shorter scale guitar,
Sure.
so it should be less tension on the strings.
Yeah.
But I like on shorter scale guitars, I tend to like 11s, whereas on the longest, well, not longest scale, but like
Yeah, longer.
Fender scale, like the Jazzmaster is,
Yep.
I like 12s on it. So this one and the actually, let's do one more quick last guitar change. See what do the 325, because I mean that's a Gibson scale, which is shorter. And that's got 11s on it as well. But yeah, I like 12s on pretty much everything. I think because I play acoustic guitar so much, I just like it's basically same gauge on electric and acoustics, 12 to 54 is on everything. But with a plain G, so it's a 22, I think is the G. But these are, I'm pretty sure these are 11s.
Okay.
But yeah, that's another great guitar. So that's a 1981 AS100. Probably aside from that 60s 335 that's at the music shop, my favorite 335 I've ever played. It's a nice neck, nice feel guitar,
Yeah, it's cool.
and it's probably one of the things now here in Australia is it's stupidly hot outside,
Humid too.
very humid.
That's the thing that gets guitars.
And yeah, I mean, I can't have the aircon running. We've got the aircon running now, but I can't really have it running all that long. And it just makes guitars go out of tune. 2 thumbs up for the reverb shootout. What do you think about using AB pedals or AB loops to combine effects? I like using that sort of stuff. I used to back in the 90s, and if Dewey's still around, this is back in the days when we used to play gigs. Before there were switches and stuff like that, what I did was I had a whammy pedal which has a dry out and an effect out. And what I actually used to do was I used to have, because I only ever used a whammy really with distortion. With clean, I never used a whammy. So I split it into 2 signals. And the effect out had all my distortion side of things. Well, originally actually it went into 2 different amps. But very quickly I realized already back then when I was young still and had a future, that I don't want to lug 2 amps around.
Yeah.
If other people lug amps around for me, yay. But by myself, no. But what I did was I had distortion pedals and all my effects for distortion and coming out of the wet out or the effect out on a whammy pedal, and the dry out was all my clean effects. And then I went into an AB box, but back to front.
Right.
So with so what I would do is I play it, and we played kind of odd music, I guess you would call it. We played sort of, I guess, in a very loose sense of the word, you would almost call it prog, but not. It was kind of all over the place. Like we were heavily influenced by bands like Mr. Bungle and stuff like that. But we talked about this before as well. If it makes you feel better, I just came in from shoveling snow. Well, it's about, what is it outside now? It's 33 degrees outside at the moment here. So that's just under 100 degrees, like 90 something degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, so anyway, so what I would do is we would play like a clean bit with delay and tremolo and God knows what else on it. And then while we were playing that, I would set up the pedals, because this is before loop switches. I would set up the pedals for the dirty bit, and then it was just one switch of a pedal, like the AB switch, which was back to front. So you've got to imagine all the clean pedals, all the dirty pedals, and then it came into the AB box,
Sure.
and then what usually is the input was the output, and then it was one line that went to the amp. So it could set up a whole bunch of pedals, a whole bunch of sounds, and then one switch went to something completely different without me having to go, so I really like that stuff. And now I use, I'll try and show it, but it's sort of on the floor and there's stuff hanging off it and plug in. But now I use an ES8, Boss ES8 loop switcher, and we're actually going to do a video of it shortly. We were actually we were sort of asked by the guys at Boss Australia to do a video of it, and they were going to send me one, and I said, you know what, I've got one already, but they're going to send us an ES5, which is a similar sort of thing.
That'll be fun.
So this is my current gigging board. Actually, a lot of people have asked about this sort of stuff. Oh,
It's nice and light too.
it's nice and light. Yeah. Let's get into this stuff. Oh, Jesus. All right. So this is my current gigging board, which I used to ES8, which I think is absolutely awesome, especially if you use things that have MIDI, because I think compared to even the gig rig and everything, it's so good with MIDI. You can really set up so many things, and we'll do a proper video of it. Hang on, is there any more comments? I usually use 11s on my Gibson and 10s on my Strat. I like to tell myself that I can shred. Yeah, 11s. Well, I'm kind of the opposite way. So I like 11s on the Gibson style thing like that, and the Jaguar. But I tend to like 12s on the, which is kind of opposite. But I don't know why.
Whatever makes you comfortable.
I just seem to like it. I put 12s in this, and I just wasn't comfortable with it.
This is actually surprisingly bright, hey? Like it's almost as bright as the single course on the top end.
Yeah,
Like
which is probably why I like. Maybe that's why I like it so
Bottom
much.
and mid range is always different.
Yeah. The ES8 is fantastic, and we'll do a video of it. But that's sort of my current life. What else is there? I do that now, but with a ZVEX loop gate after the split. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, see, it works really well doing it sort of back to front. And I really want to try that ZVEX loop gate actually, because you can do some quirky stuff with it. But yeah, I just really like using the switcher. I just think it's a killer thing, and you can switch the order of pedals, and to me the most important part is the MIDI side of things. So I actually reassigned, because I don't really use many presets. No. So I have 6 presets down the bottom, right? So they're different, like just generic presets, I guess. Sort of, a clean, a mildly overdriven drive, crunchy rhythm, distortion, lead, and then this is a like crazy fuzz sort of sound. Oh no, this is a synth sound, and this is a crazy fuzz sound. And it sort of changes via MIDI, changes stuff. But what I did was actually reassign, because you can reassign buttons, sort of bank up, bank down, because I don't go through banks. This actually now controls this. So with this, I can change presets on here, on the H9, and the mute button for the tuner, which I don't use either because I've got a tuner on here, on the HX Stomp, and if I hold that button down, it mutes it, and then I have the tuner. So that mute button is actually the hot switch on this. So I have it, for example, on the synth sound, the synth comes out of this, and this is assigned to go an octave up on the synth sound. So anyway, I mean, we'll get into that a lot more, but I do like ABY switches, and I mean, this is an ABY switcher to the extreme, but it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
All the way out to Y.
It's the alphabet switcher. But like things like, for example, the Swiss things, the new Earthquaker thing. Yeah. That's really cool. And I think I've watched, what's her name? Novella? Novella, is that her name? I think that's her name. She's like a, no, she's a, she does like looping stuff. She's really good. Yeah, okay. And she has a similar sort of thing where she has like a clean side and a dirty side, or not clean and dirty, but like one like really affected side that she used with the Swiss thing. Swiss thing? Is that what it's called? Swiss?
I think so.
Swiss something? Swiss something.
Swiss Army cheese.
Swiss Army cheese, excellent board. I'm jealous. Oh, thank you. Well, it's kind of cool. And the thing I like about it now, I just put the HX Stomp on it, and so I don't bring an amp anymore. I just go actually stereo out now.
Yeah.
And because the cool thing is on the HX Stomp, so you've got the amp modeling, and we'll do a proper video of the HX Stomp as well. But you've got the amp modeling, but then you've got the cabinet modeling, and you can have a stereo cabinet where you have one cabinet hard pan to the right, one cabinet hard pan to the left.
That's cool.
And it sounds really cool. So I went stereo, and then I thought if I do that, I may as well put some cool stereo delays on it too. So I do have stereo now live. Not that it really matters, but I do. But
not when you go through this mono Bose stick PA.
yeah, well, when I use my PA, then I set it up properly in stereo and stuff, which I will next week from today. This is my next gig.
Right.
It's a corporate thing with a 5-piece band where I use it, and it's my gear, so I'll be in stereo. I'll make sure of that.
Nice.
And I'll be using these. I think I showed them at the start. And we'll do a video of them shortly too. Which are the Mayfair.
Mayfee.
It was really good. I've used it once at a gig, and it was great. And we're shortly going to do a video of some wireless in-ear packs too.
Yeah.
Well, not the actual in-ears, but the packs, the wireless receiver and sender. The loop gate is really useful. It does hard trem too. Yeah, that's the thing, and you can kind of
really.
Yeah, and you can kind of doesn't it kind of do like an envelope kind of thing as well, where you can, depending on how hard you play, it opens the loop or closes the loop. I think it does that sort of stuff.
It's pretty fancy.
Mofo. No, Mefe. Oh, this Mefe. Mefe. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's a Chinese brand. But he sent us this. We also did a video of the power supply, which is...
Yeah,
there's one floating around down there. Which is actually quite good. I've been using it at home, and it seems to be working fine.
Yeah, I mean, they're cool.
We've been going for 2 hours, 16 minutes.
Holy moly.
Holy crap.
Have another coffee.
Yeah, I think we need to call it a day soon. But,
It's already called a day.
now...
Ha!
Hey-oh.
Dad joke.
But yeah, and the other, hang on, now that I've showed that, I should show the other thing too. So we're doing, they're really quite good. I used them once, and I was pleasantly surprised how good it was. And
a good friend, Dan Horn, has taken my pair of wireless guitar thingies. And has used them.
Oh yeah, he likes them?
Yeah.
We did a podcast with him too. These ones is Focus, Gigarex. So they were sent to us by the guys at GSUS4 here in Australia. Kang, hello Kang, if you're possibly watching this at some stage. So we're going to do a video of this shortly. Really cool as well. It's just so easy. And I mean, one's a receiver, one's a sender. Transmitter, sorry, whatever, yeah. Whatever.
Same.
But it's just... and the battery lasted. Because the thing is, there's a couple of gigs I do where I just play acoustic guitar and I sit right next to my mixer.
Yeah.
And I just usually have my in-ears going straight in. You know, you don't need a lot of cable. But I just thought, just to try them out.
Yeah.
So I just had this sitting, wireless to go this far.
14 centimeters.
But it worked really well, sounded great. The battery lasted 3 gigs.
Cool. Yeah, the cool thing is with this new kind of generation of wireless stuff, it's all powered off like an internal USB powered battery.
Yeah.
Supply.
So just charge it in the morning.
So you don't go, oh, I need to find some 9 volts. Run down to the service station and they
just plug it into.
You can buy a 9 volt for $14.
And I mean, most people nowadays, I guess, will have in one way or another a USB connection in the car, or bring something along to charge a phone. And you just plug it in and it works fine. So, was that an Eventide H9? If so, what do you use it for? Yes, that was on the board. Yes, you can still see it there.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes, it's an Eventide H9. H9 is absolutely excellent. I think it's killer. I use it... Okay, I use it right now on this board. I use it for... it's kind of like my modulation. Because, I mean, if you look at the board... Okay, let's bring... Oh, God, I just put it down. This is like a workout. Okay, so I pretty much use it as a modulation effect. So, I've got let's go through it just quickly, and then we'll do a video of it at some stage properly. But so I've got the ES8. So I go into the interfacer by Goodwood Audio, which is really cool, which has buffers and stuff in it, but you can bypass the buffers and you can go out in stereo, and you can actually do phase things with that there, which is kind of cool, which we were talking about earlier. But so it goes from that into the no, actually it goes from that into the compressor, and from the compressor into the Boss ES8. And then, I mean, I've got in the loops, basically, I've got, this is a Greenchild Boost, which I just use as a boost. We'll do a video of that coming up soon too. I've got the whammy pedal is in the loop, Analog Man King of Tone, the Kilt version 1, and I've got the Freak Out, because especially if you don't have an amp and you use in-ears, which I do at most of my electric guitar gigs, you can't get feedback, but this thing is killer. And then I actually have, so then it goes out of this, into the Tonal Recall, so that's after, and then from that into the HX Stomp. And then the cool thing that you can do with the HX Stomp is, so you can go, if I go direct into the PA, I use the left and right stereo outs, but I also have the send hooked up here from the effects loop, because what I did with all my patches is you can split the signal. So I split the signal before the amp modeling and send it to the send, and that goes back to the interfacer. So if I want to use an amp, I can just plug into here, and I can still use everything, and it bypasses the amp emulation on here, because you split the signal and send the signal to the send that goes to here, and then out of the output here goes to the amp. But if I don't want to do that, I can just send a direct signal from here
to the world.
To the world.
Yes.
But yeah, so this basically is sort of modulation mainly. So I use it for tremolo, I use it for vibrato, I do actually also have some delays on it. So this is a delay. My idea was, like in some of my presets, I have delay on here, but if I use something else on here, I have a delay if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And that's just set up to a really basic, just a nice, it's a great sounding delay to Tonal Recall. So, and then I also use this for some synth sounds, because I got the new synth patch that they released, the algorithm, which sounds really cool actually. And I even use some of the kind of really gated fuzzes, which sound kind of so nasty that it's kind of nice. And a couple of really long reverbs.
Yeah, the dark Black Hole.
Black Hole, which is beautiful. But mostly modulation. So I used to play in this, I don't know if it's still going or not, but I used to play in this Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute band, and I had he uses chorus a lot, so there's because the effects on this are fantastic.
Yeah, they're cool. They're
really high quality effects, and I've actually been wanting to get a second one, to have one on my board and one in the studio.
I want to get a second one too, and also want to get a first one.
But I use some effects and a little bit of effects and modulation on this too.
I kind of want to get a small board and have an H9 and the HX Stomp.
I do still think I like the drives better not on there, but there's actually a new version coming out
for a mini board.
For mini board,
you can do millions, hundreds of millions of things.
You can do hundreds of millions. You literally can.
Yeah.
There's a new version of the firmware coming out shortly, 2.8, which will have a King of Tone on it.
Ooh, piss all this stuff off.
Oh, it's fun.
Just take that.
But the thing is, you can't do the feedback thing. That and ukulele. So yeah, and like I said, so I have this with the bank up and bank down. I actually go through the presets on here, and then I just press activate to activate them. And this is the hot switch. So with the hot switch, you can set. That's the other cool thing with this, is you can do anything with it. So you can any parameter on any of the things you can set any way you want, and with the hot switch, it just goes there.
Yep.
So you can have some parameters go up, some go down, whatever you want. So the hot switch, it's really cool. Yep. So that's the way I use this at the moment. And I also have it actually, which is the other really cool thing. So have it plugged in, both ins and outs plugged in. But the other cool thing that you can do with this is, instead of it being stereo, you can split input 1 and input 2 and output 1 and output 2.
Yeah.
So it's actually going, input 1 is going into one of the loops before all the drives, and 2 is going after all the drives. So I can have certain sounds before distortion, and then things like delays can go after, and by patch, it just uses a different one.
Very clever.
which is super clever.
Yeah.
And the MIDI stuff on this is insane too. So I really think those two together, the ES8 and the H9, they work so well together. And I've tried just about every other. The only one I haven't tried is the RJM Gizmo. No, not Gizmo.
I know that one.
Mastermind, or
Yeah.
it's the RJM pedal switcher, which I think is really good with MIDI as well. But the MIDI side on this beats the Gig Rig, beats everything. It's so insanely in depth what you can do with MIDI on the ES8, and it works really well with this. And I'm actually really interested when Boss sends us the ES5, because I think it's just exactly the same, just with 5 loops instead of 8 loops. So maybe that's even something to do to downsize a bit. But yeah, and I'm hoping they're going to send us an MS3 as well, because that's one thing I've actually been wanting to try out for a while.
I did have an idea of building a baseboard around the 3.
Okay.
And have like some stuff in the effects in the looper, and then a few other like.
Well, I think there's only 2 loops, maybe 3 loops.
3 maybe.
Is that why it's an MS3?
There's a few, but yeah, just have a couple of select pedals, but use other effects.
Yeah. I think what's his name from Joe Branton from Guitar Nerds. I think he uses that in his setup at the moment. He's got the MS3.
Right.
And he's a prog bass player. Thanks for going through the board. Looking forward to the video. Yeah, eventually we'll do it. 200 IQ. Well, it's you need the thing is you need to not have a life, and then you sit and learn how to do all that crap. Now we've been meaning to do a video on our boards and on our gear. We actually did a podcast once on it. We recorded it all, but we had some video issues, and we sat there for like 2 hours talking about all our stuff, and then we got the video back, and it wasn't right. There was something, I can't remember what it was, but it was something wrong with the video, and we couldn't use it.
I'm still waiting for Jack to come back from holidays so I can redo my board.
Redo your board? Well, we can maybe film that.
He's in England.
Yes, and he cut his man bun off.
Yeah, so it's finally reached puberty.
And he bought it. Did he buy a Loudon? Was it a Loudon he bought? Loudon, yeah, I think.
No,
Loudon acoustic.
The same as mine, electric.
Larrivee? Oh, is it a Larrivee board?
Yeah.
Not a Loudon. Oh no, Loudon. That's actually another NAMM thing. Ed Sheeran is making Sheeran guitars. Loudon is making it for him.
Really?
Yeah. Which is like a small Irish maker. They're great guitars, Loudon.
Yeah, lovely.
We had some at the music shop at one stage, you understand. They're beautiful guitars, not cheap, but...
No, it's very cool.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, there's just a few really nice boutique acoustic guitar makers around the world that, like, you pay for it, but damn, you can hand it on to your grandchildren.
They're awesome guitars. I think we had 2 or 3 Loudons, and they were beautiful guitars. Yeah, and he apparently now came at NAMM. Loudon said, we have an event, come to it. And they went there and thought, oh, yeah, cool, yeah, we'll have some new guitars. I think Jay Cross from the Guitar Nerds went there. And then they said, and all of a sudden there's like all these lights and stuff, and Ed Sheeran walks out and plays a few songs. And he goes, by the way, I'm now making Sheeran guitars. Cool. I think it's actually has his name on it. It's not even Loudon guitar, it's Sheeran signature.
Really?
But it's a Sheeran guitars by Loudon.
Nice.
Yeah. So no more.
Good on.
So Martin must be shitty with him now, because that was a good seller. The mini guitars that always different one came out with a different mathematical logo from his current album.
Wow.
Not an Ed Sheeran fan, but if it gets people to play guitar, it's a good thing. Well, that's the thing. I mean, guys like him.
Taylor. Sadly,
but Taylor Swift is considered one of the people that most responsible to get more and more females into playing guitar.
Yeah.
St. Vincent as well, Annie Clark, who just won another Grammy and did a very raunchy performance with this other chick I've never seen before at the Grammys. Because she just won 2 Grammys, I think.
Yeah.
She's awesome, by the way. I absolutely love St. Vincent.
That's the whole thing about getting, whether it's girls or just young kids in general, keen at a young age.
Yeah.
And then you end up becoming a songwriter in your...
Well,
adulthood.
Yeah, and if you stick with it, and I mean, I know a lot of my younger students when they come in, they to lessons, they go well, what music do you like? And you go, oh, I like Ed Sheeran, that's why I play guitar.
Cool.
Or sadly now also that Shawn Mendes guy.
Okay.
That's another, very sadly, but...
Yeah, you grow out of it.
Yeah, well, hopefully. But, I mean, it's good because it's... I mean, there's this big talk always about is guitar dying and stuff. I don't think it is, but there's always different people coming out and different things coming out. And it's sad. I mean, good and sad that it's not the cool guys who play guitar that inspire kids to play guitar, but it's Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, but the stuff that kids are going to play is G chords and D chords and E minor chords, which is Ed Sheeran songs.
But at the same time, I have to say, I mean, I'm not a humongous Ed Sheeran fan either, but at the same time, I have to say, a dude who most of the time goes around the world, plays sold out stadiums, and stands there by himself and plays acoustic guitar and sings and loop stuff. I mean, he's got some kahunas to do that. And to be able to fill a stadium and entertain the people by doing that, I mean, whatever he does and whether we like it or not, I mean, good on him. And good on that there is someone who does something like that.
Yeah. It's not just like some program beats.
I mean, Taylor Swift is a different story. But I mean, at least there's a guy who he actually kind of writes his own songs.
And she started out doing that.
And he started out doing it, and he goes and he plays, again, you know, in front of 60,000 people by himself, just him and an acoustic guitar. I think that takes some serious balls to do that.
Yeah. It's great.
And freaking good for the bank account.
Oh, yeah.
Don't have to split that money with other people in the band. And so he'd make some good cash. Talent, cool. On that note, and I mean, that's it. Music, and that's a good thing about music. It's so subjective, you know. It's just, it's whatever rocks your boat, and it's good that it rocks your boat. And if it doesn't rock somebody else's boat, there'll be something else that rocks their boat. So,
but it's getting into the position where you can have that conversation about, hey, have you heard of this band? Like, wow, that's much better than Taylor Swift.
Yeah, a lot of things are much better than Taylor Swift. But
if you weren't put in that position to have that conversation, then you wouldn't have found it.
Exactly right. Yeah. And on that note, we've been going for 2.5 hours.
Holy moly!
I need a nap. So thanks to everyone who stuck around and watched us and
the hot morning.
Asked questions. And so I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work or not, but I may put this up as a podcast. It's definitely going to be on YouTube. So if you want to watch it later on. Or if you missed bits, or it'll be up on YouTube. It may or may not be as a podcast, because I don't know if this worked, because I had some technical issues. And internet's not working right now.
It drops in and out a little bit.
Drops in and out. Okay, so I think we're back now. So that's it. But that's it for us anyway. Thanks for watching. We're going to try and maybe do this once a month. Maybe not for 2.5 hours each time. It's a gateway drug to good music. Exactly right.
That's the quote of the day. All
right. And on that note, thank you so much, everyone. Let us know. Send us an email, superfunawesomehappytime@gmail.com. Let us know. We'll try and do this maybe once a month.
I think so. It's good amount of regularity.
On a day when you can get up early enough to be here at about 9 o'clock. Or let us know if this time was alright. Or I mean, by now it's almost lunchtime here, so I guess I don't know. But we'll find out anyway.
We'll just do our thing.
Do our thing. Okay. Thank you so much. And bye.